Demon Mama is not harmless because I never, ever saw the argument for trans self-ID or gender self-ID until Demon Mama and Do started popularizing it. And they should do that. And if a conservative gets in the way, then they should respawn peacefully. These motherfuckers are so fucking transparent, dude.
This is fucking, I am so disappointed with this. Oh, God.
What do you mean legal brain? You're literally using the words of a legal fucking document to fucking say that he's wrong. What do you mean legal brain?
I hope this... Let's listen to this. Let's hear what everybody's got to say here.
Why is this so fucking quiet?
Targeted at one particular group, you know, like people in Russia were starving, people in Kazakhstan were starving, and there's like, so you get into like a really murky territory. And if you look at the cases of the Srebrenica massacre in Bosnia, the way that was determined to be a genocide, there's all kinds of like thresholds that had to be met. They had to show like.
Watch this short. Why? Is it no comment, chick?
What I'm scared of is that there's...
I saw someone over here make the...
What I'm scared of is that there's more people like Lonerbox out there. There's more people that are just gonna sit there until it's too fucking late. That's an existential fear.
I don't know why.
What I'm scared of is that there's more people like Lonerbox out.
Why does that scare? Like, Lonerbox is still a socialist. Lonerbox is still a socialist. Lonerbox is like one of the most trans-positive creators out there. I just don't fucking understand. I do understand. It's a virtue signal. Oh no, I'm not the most oppressed group right now. I'm not getting fucking genocided. Oh, what's that? Something's going on in Ukraine? Wait, look at me. I'm the one being genocided. I'm the one being genocided. What the fuck? If you could replace 95% of your meals for life with mashed pumpkin, lard, and African Ugandan... Your lifespan increases by 5.3 years in good health? No, that doesn't sound like it's worth it, Raffle. This is the fucking weirdest question. Actually, this is the actual weirdest fucking question I've ever been asked in 2.5 years of streaming. This is actually the most fucking deranged fucking question I've ever been asked. What the fuck does this mean? How the fuck did you decide on this food? How did you arrive at $278,000? That's not nearly fucking enough. Holy shit. I've actually never been more offended by a question as well. Hey, Politics for Life. Hey, I actually want to say something to you, Politics for Life, Mr. formerly known as Debate Bore. Yeah, I actually thought about you, while I was off stream, whether it was worth keeping you around, whether I should ban you because you trigger me so much. I actually think you are the most bad faith chatter I've ever had. And that's saying something because Little Bits is in the chat right now, but at least they're a good shit poster. Okay? I think you're so weaselly. 1 second. Oh, 1 second. I have to respond to this text. You're inventing that I'm not inventing anything. Now you're gaslighting me. 1 second. I have to respond to this text message.
Amazing.
All right, there we go. Hey, thank you for gifting that sub to Lonerbox. So Lonerbox may be joining the DGG universe. I don't know. I don't really know. Um, I don't really know Lonerbox that well. We've DM'd a couple of times. I might shoot him a DM. I don't know what the time is over there. Um, yeah, I don't know what time it is over there, but if he's getting dogpiled as much as you guys say he is, let's see what this Twitter post is. Oh, I can't wait. What did Gay Fesh say? Open link in private window. For years, I was told nobody is going after trans people. This week, Florida stripped trans use of their health care. The UK government is discussing plans to revise our human right to exist in public. Jesus, just fucking believe us when we say people want us gone. We can't even guarantee progressive liberals will be there to defend trans folk. People like Lonerbox hand wring and quibble over calling it a genocide. Wait, why is Gay Fesh? Wait a second. Hold the fuck up. Why is Gay Fesh commenting about Lonerbox on someone like Jim Sterling's or Stephanie Sterling? I'm sorry, I'm reading the at. Does she still go by Jim Sterling or is it Stephanie Sterling? And why is the at still Jim Sterling? Okay, I don't care. But why the fuck actually? Like, this person is a huge YouTuber, 250 almost followers on Twitter. Nobody cares. Oh, and then the quote tweet is Lonerbox. Genuinely trying to throw an olive branch here. Why did none of you guys bat an eye when I defended refugee rights without calling their treatment in Europe a genocide? Why did none of you guys bat an eye when I defended refugee rights without calling their treatment in Europe a genocide? Governments literally left those people to drown or sent them into the hands of murderers. They separated families and held them as prisoners in detention centers where scores of them died. These actions are rightly decried as gross human rights abuses and crimes against humanity. If there were a small group of refugee activists who decided what was happening was a genocide and chastised people who disagreed with them, how exactly does that help? Does it change the way these issues are supposed to be dealt with? I've looked up a few of the groups that were pushing back on anti-trans laws and haven't found one that's using the word genocide. If you think those people are also lacking urgency or downplaying the threat, maybe you can lead by example and show them what they should do instead. Fucking based. You are wrong about Ukraine? Wait, what are you talking about? Literally everything about what I said was going on in Ukraine is like absolutely true and has come true over the past couple of months. Didn't I debate you at some point? Then why did Russia annex the 4 regions? I Jesus Christ. What is with my chat and all these fucking weirdos coming in all the fucking time? Why did Russia annex the 4 regions? Because they want to be able to like use whatever means necessary if they try to invade those regions again. Probably. I don't understand what the question is. Why do you think Russia annexed the 4 regions? I'm the Pokemon master for schizos. Yes. All of the mentally ill Twitch chatters can come straight to my stream. Oh, 1 second. Let me read this DM. Because the people, oh, you're actually retarded. Oh, no. Hey, guys. Listen, in the past, there are these places called sanatoriums that they would send people to, like you to. And I think that we need to bring those back. I think we need to bring those back, you know? Let me see here. There's a special tool. Yeah, there's some special tools that they used to use for people like you, and it would have made your life so much better. Look at this right there. Right there. Just a nice old ice pick up the nose, tap, 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 scramble around, and you would feel so much better. Okay? You would feel so much better, dude. Sondsol is a magic intersection between crazy lefties and right-wing hacks. Yeah, I know. I get all of the worst ones. None of the ones that will get me any clout. All these fucking weirdos, based socialist.
I really didn't want to have to make this video. Lonerbox.
Oh wait, hold on. What's the intro say?
I really
As you can hear, I've been sick for like a week. Okay, no,
didn't
who
want
fucking
to have
cares?
to make this video. Lonerbox is a creator I really respected, both for his on-stream personality and his long.
Why is the audio coming out so quiet for you guys? Is there did I fuck up something with my audio settings? It says the headphones are at 100%. I'll crank it up.
Long-form scripted content. He's really good at explaining things clearly and calmly, and has made some great videos pushing back against right-wing bullshit like Matt Walsh's What is a Woman documentary. I think he's been a genuine force for good in the online left, and has earned his position among stream and essay personalities through having legitimately good content, which is why making this video is so disappointing for me.
Lonerbox doesn't think there's a trans genocide. Hold on, I'm actually curious. Actually, I should Google this off. Trans genocide. Okay, we got a Wikipedia article on trans genocide. Transicide. PBS.org. Wait, does it say genocide on this? On PBS? 1 second. Control F. Genocide. Wait, hold on. Oh, never mind. Yeah, no, genocide does not show up except for in one Wikipedia article. Fuck off. I cannot pay Wikipedia right now. I am poor. It's a term used by scholars and activists. This article has multiple issues. Please help improve it. The neutrality of this article is disputed. The article possibly contains synthesis of material which does not verifiably mention or relate to the main topic. Oh no. Oh no, guys. Oof. Oh no. Elevated level of systematic discrimination and violence against transgender people. The term is related to the common meaning as well as the legal concept of genocide, which the Genocide Convention describes as an intentional effort to completely or partially destroy a group based on its nationality, ethnicity, race, or religion. Nationality, ethnicity, race, or religion. None of which, like, unless there's a trans nation, ethnicity, race, or religion. I don't know about that one, folks. Historians have described genocidal. Okay. None of this is genocide. Literally, nothing here is genocide. The use of transgender genocide has been contested by hate crime expert Bernie Farber. of the Canadian Jewish Congress as being insensitive to victims of recognized genocide, such as the Holocaust, because it does not meet the legal test despite the terrible crimes against the community. Discomfort with the term has also been expressed within the trans community. As Emily St. James writes, still, if I use the word genocide and say the headline of this article, I know almost every cis person who reads this will blanch, at least a little bit, then quibble with the word choice. I would agree to some degree. This is so fucking stupid. How liberalism will kill us
On
all!
October 20th, someone in Polypeople's chat let her know that Lonerbox was on stream saying there wasn't a genocide of trans people happening in the US. Polly disagreed, so she joined his stream chat and he invited her to talk on stream. I think the following clip does a good job of illustrating both Lonerbox's and Polypeople's basic thesis statements for this debate.
But I do know that denying trans people.
Oh my god, apologies for the audio quality. Why are you posting it to fucking YouTube then? Fucking loser. I'm sorry. I fucking hate people who don't put work into their videos, especially if you're not doing live content. Why the fuck are you posting this shit to YouTube? Fucking shit ass audio quality, shit ass video quality, any of that shit fucking bugs the fuck out of me.
Healthcare will kill them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the intent, to kill trans people by making life unlivable.
Okay, so then again, so when you say intent like that, it sounds like you are appealing
Fix the music volume relative to the speaking volume.
to stay within like a definition. So yeah, I wouldn't.
So-
again, like,
so when
first of all,
it-
with religion, I just to be clear, I said what's happening to Muslims in the UK is not enough for a genocide. It's systemic discrimination. It's it's abusive and all that. Yeah. I said what's happening in China is more clearly like cultural genocide because the intent is there to destroy the religion. It's there, and the state is actually seizing people and putting them into education camps that they can't leave and forcing them to change their cultures. That's why the threshold is just so much higher. So that's why I'm kind of analogizing British Muslims more because I don't think that's a genocide. But again, the intent to kill people that would put the burden on you. I don't think there's any written statements from people and saying that we're trying to get rid of trans healthcare and trans education rights and all that because we want to kill trans people, right?
He says that only 2 states have passed laws banning trans healthcare for minors and that one was struck down. In reality, 4 states, Alabama, Arkansas, Texas, and Arizona, have passed laws banning some kind of medical prevention for trans youth, whether that's a ban on surgeries for trans youth or a full ban on all gender-related care such as HRT and puberty blockers. Missouri, though its healthcare ban seems to be currently stuck in committee, considered extending the age limit from 18 up to 25, meaning legal adults who could vote and rent a car and go to war would be considered too young to be allowed to have transition-related materials.
This isn't genocide. This isn't genocide.
This is them showing their hand. They want to extend it.
Did Polly link a source for the trans genocide numbers? No, those are all locked in the vault of Moscow and in France. I don't know if you knew that, but if you want the original documents for the... Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were talking about an actual genocide, like the Holocaust. If you want the direct first account there, the actual records, you're going to have to go to Moscow for the Holocaust. But this is something completely outside of the realm of reality.
Past 25 until they can reasonably ban it outright. Moreover, denial of healthcare isn't the end-all be-all of what constitutes a genocide, despite it being a major component. Part 1. Where it starts.
Counter to my argument about the Holocaust? What argument about the... Wait, hold the fuck up. What is the argument about the Holocaust? Oh no, what the fuck? Yes, because it's the Holocaust. It's not a genocide. Awful comparison. What the fuck is going on? Bro, we need to shut down. We need to shut down all of the lefty Twitter. We need to shut down all of the lefty Twitter accounts until we figure out what the fuck is going on here. What the fuck, dude? If you think these people are... Maybe you can lead by example and show them what they should do instead. A few anti-trans groups I've looked into aren't calling what's happening to trans people in the U.S. a genocide explicitly, so it's not a genocide. No genocide is happening in the U.S., nor will it happen in the near future. Let's stop the BS fear-mongering. You can be against anti-trans legislation without pretending that a Holocaust is happening right now in the U.S. Let's stick to reality for once. Weren't you on good terms with Miles? No. I think maybe like in 2020 I was, back when I was a Vosh orbiter, but no. Isn't this, I'm pretty sure this is the guy that told his girlfriend that he can't hang out with her friends and that she shouldn't hang out with her friends because her friend is a Destiny viewer. Is that not the same person? One second. I'm not even gonna, you know what? I'm not gonna fucking engage. I want to engage. I don't know what it is. I'm not gonna get canceled for using his, him, him, his, whatever pronouns. All right. Oh, it's the hollow cloth. Jesus fucking Christ. Not enough. Oh, fuck, dude. That's way.
As of writing, 18 different states in the US have a ban on trans feminine athletes competing against their cisgender peers. These bans, like the bills banning medical intervention, are excused by a desire to quote-unquote protect a group supposedly negatively affected by the inclusion of trans people.
Supposedly. Like, do people not, like, ever... If you don't understand what someone's position is, then don't fucking try to speak on it, dude. I don't know. If you don't understand how cis women can be affected by trans women in sports, or if you literally just think like by virtue, like, because the same people that will make this argument that trans women in sports does not negatively affect cis women will all, because and they'll say like, just look at like the way that HRT affects the body. They'll also be the exact same fucking people that say, oh well, don't you know that you don't need to do any kind of transition in order to be trans? You don't have to trans. All you have to do is say and believe that you're a woman and therefore you are trans, and there shouldn't have to be anything else after that. So if there isn't if there isn't any requirement for someone to undergo either a social or a medical or a, like a hormonal transition, then I feel like cis women are going to lose out to their definition of trans women in sports if those people never have to do any kind of transitioning. It's insane.
Namely, women's sports. Republicans claim they want to keep trans women out of women's leagues because our, quote, innate biological advantage over cis women would lead women's sports to eventually be dominated by trans feminine athletes. I'm not going to spend my time explaining why that's incorrect because tons of people have gone over this argument before, and I'm not looking to just regurgitate their points. If you're interested in knowing why there's basically no reason to bar trans women from women's sports, I would recommend giving Jesse Gender's videos on the subject a watch. The point of these athletics bans isn't to kill trans people, not in any direct way, that is. The goal of these particular bills is to other trans people, to make them seem alien and aberrant and unworthy of equal treatment. You can see this in the way conversations around trans athletes...
But fuck me. No, it's really not. I think that most conservatives genuinely believe, like, you have to do so much, like, mind reading to get to that point. Like the idea that, oh, well, they just want to make trans people seem aberrant. They just want trans people to seem insane and crazy. It's like, no, like, well, maybe, yeah, but not with these bills. I think that there's like a great number of people, not just conservatives, but your average liberal in the United States that thinks that maybe trans women in sports is a really difficult thing to allow to happen if you want cis women to remain competitive in sports. There should have to be, at the very least, some kind of there should have to be some kind of like medical transition. There should have to be some kind of like HRT involved there, right? Like you shouldn't just be able to like say I am a woman and then be able to play in the same sports as cis women, especially if we're talking about like contact sports like wrestling, right? Like that just shouldn't be allowed. Like look at the way that testosterone affected that the trans dude, right, in Texas, who wanted to compete against other guys, but the state wouldn't allow him to. He destroyed those girls. He destroyed those girls because of the HRT. He should have been competing against guys in his own weight class. He just should have been. Are you suggesting that if a boy feels like a girl, then to live as a girl, the boy must undergo medical procedures? No, not necessarily. That's not what, like, my bar for like transitioning is some desire to socially or medically transition, right? You can't just like you can't look like me and then say I am trans. Like that shouldn't be allowed. Okay? Because that doesn't make sense to literally anybody else on the face of the fucking planet. Okay? It doesn't make any fucking sense outside of these like very niche fucking Twitter circles. Let me think here 1 second. So I think that having a desire, because there's two reasons why I say the desire is enough, right? Because one, if you're like in a really, really ultra conservative place, I responded to you, Dingo. Fuck you. If you're in a really conservative area, right, and you could possibly get like physically harmed for being a trans person, right? I understand not transitioning. Or if you're too poor to afford any kind of like medical transitioning, that's also like I wouldn't want to say that that person isn't trans because they can't afford HRT, right? So like I don't think that there should be monetary barriers to being called trans, but there should be social ones, right? If you're socially transitioning and you are like, trying to present as someone like as something else than you were assigned at birth, then fine, fucking go for it. I don't care. I'm not going to sit here and like police you on whether or not you're not trans. You know? But at the same time, you can't just like say you are a woman, never do any like social transitioning or any HRT or any kind of anything, and never, ever, 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 ever do any kind of like transition. You can't like not transition and then claim that you're trans. What does trans mean? Trans means like to change. There's some change between state 1 and state 2. I was heavily recommend talking to a trans person on this. I have a close personal friend who is trans, and we've had deep conversations about this. They believe things that I probably am not going to like go as far as them on, right? But like, how can you claim to be trans, never desire to socially or medically transition, and then still call yourself trans? What does that? What does it even mean to be trans at that point? It means literally fucking nothing. Yeah, yeah. Trust me, I I have dealt with like my own like things where I've like deeply introspected about like gender stuff in my own in my own experience, right? Like I know a lot about this stuff. And it's not like I'm just like speaking off the cuff about like what a real trans is and what a fake trans is, right? But like if you're simultaneously going to say trans women don't have any inherent like advantage over cis women in sports, right? As long as they take HRT, and then also say, oh, I didn't mean to click that. Fuck. I'm changing it. It just doesn't make any fucking sense. All right, that's where I'll leave it.
Are worded by conservatives. Trans women are invading women's sports, dominating the leaderboards, and all of this is intentional. These trans athletes have malice ascribed to them, with the right wing insisting this is a deliberate attempt to undermine Western civilization and weaken our perception of the division of the sexes, when in reality, trans athletes want what all athletes want, to play their sport. These bans not only usually come as a response to a particular athlete performing well, making them the subject of unimaginable levels of online hate, and are enacted in an attempt to push any trans person who might get a spotlight for their achievements into a self-imposed obscurity for their own protection. In short, they are making trans athletes' lives more difficult and ending their prospective careers on a legislative level. Part 2. Do they mean it though? In the debate with Poly People, she asked Lonerbox if he agreed that even if there isn't an active genocide happening right now, that there is at least genocidal intent on the side of the GOP. Lonerbox's response was weird.
So is that what it would take? The law would have to say, we would like to, our goal is to kill trans people? That's...
Well, you said that, though. You said that the intent is there.
This argument is completely incoherent because it ignores, either intentionally or accidentally, the well-known fascist tactic of dog whistling. Republican politicians don't need to say, we have to remove trans people from society or let them Roblox themselves outright, when they can just call us groomers, pedophiles, and fearmonger about us corrupting innocent cis children through social contagion. The message this sends to their base and to the trans people who exist around them is clear. We don't believe trans people are worthy of dignity or a life free from discrimination, and in fact, we believe discriminating against them through law or through action.
Or you could just like talk to a regular person and not try to assume every single conservative's intentions, I guess. Like, I don't know. Maybe that might help you out a little bit in this soul searching that you're doing, trying to figure out what all conservatives believe. But like, I think that it's probably a genuine concern on a lot of conservatives' parts that they're like, man, like it's a little bit spooky, all this like trans stuff. I feel like this isn't like a normal thing, and because it's not a normal thing to me, I'm a little bit spooked by it, right? And then you add in people like you, the person in this video, simultaneously saying that trans women don't have any advantage in sports, but also taking the like crazy position that self-ID is all that it takes to be trans. Like, how do you square these two positions? How do you square those two positions? How do you square the idea that like there's a lot of people that are just like very libertarian about things, but they don't want people like telling a 4-year-old that they're trans? How do you square those two ideas? It's just wholly inconsistent.
Acts of physical and emotional violence is morally correct. On another note, what serious politician who hopes to be reelected would ever verbally and explicitly say they want to kill trans people, especially in a period where their political party isn't even the one in power? Regardless of their intentions, which I obviously agree are genocidal, doing so when you don't control the government is political suicide. Doing a little bit.
If it was political suicide, then why are they talking about it so much? It's like political crack. It gets their base fucking bumping. It's not political suicide to say that trans people shouldn't be in sports, because it's all over the fucking United States. You hear it all the fucking time. If it was political suicide, then you would expect to not hear it all the time, but you do. Why do you hear it all the time? Because it's politically advantageous if you're a conservative to say that shit. Like fucking of course. Hey, Christian, how's it fucking going? Hey, Christian, DM me so I will remember to DM you back. Because I need to tell you something.
Bit of transphobia is very popular among the right wing, but overall, the American people are overwhelmingly against the anti-trans laws being passed already. Even registered Republicans are majority against anti-trans bills being put forth by the party.
Hold on. No, go back. I want to read it. Fewer than 3 in 10 people support state laws that prohibit gender-affirming care for minors, or that criminalize providers of that care. Among Republicans, 26% support bills that prohibit this medical care, while 70% are opposed. That's on par. I wish I could see the rest of this article. $69.
Registered Republicans are majority against anti-trans bills being put forth by the party. If a political figure like Greg Abbott or Ron DeSantis
Then
said
why
were
are they
passing a
still
law
getting
for the
elected?
express purpose of making sure more trans people died, that would go over phenomenally poorly with everyone but their most devoted base. They're passing the laws they're passing because at the moment, that's the most they can do.
Guess what you should do then? If only 26% of the population is electing these people into office, well, then you should try and work on voter outreach and getting people to go and vote against these people, right? Is that not what you ought to do?
But because of reasons, if they get reelected, they're prepared to make it legally impossible for them to ever lose again, at which point they can pass whatever laws they want, no matter what their voters think. The last point I want to get into to show Lonerbox genocidal intent is to ask him this. Do you think the law not getting passed erases the harm? Part 3.
No, he would
cruelty
never.
is the point.
Oh, fuck off.
One of the main goals of a lot of these bills is not to actually legally affect anyone's lives. Politicians will propose these laws knowing they will lose their votes, or be vetoed or overturned. That's almost immaterial to them. Sometimes it's even part of the plan so they can bellyache to their base about the will of the people being overthrown by a tyrannical government hell-bent on grooming your children. No, the main goal of so many of these bills isn't to become laws, but to become headlines. I would argue that the majority of anti-trans legislation isn't made to be passed right now. The point is to say to trans people reading the headlines, we see you, and we're not going to make life easier for you. We're going to make it immeasurable.
The point is not to do that, because they don't see you as like the great enemy necessarily. They see you as a great like political pawn that they can use and maybe be a little bit cruel in the meantime, but they can absolutely farm you for votes. They're farming your struggle for votes. So if there's so many people that disagree with that legislation, your goal should be what? To make sure those bills don't get passed by electing representatives that don't believe in anti-trans legislation. If so many people are opposed to it, that should be relatively easy as long as you go out and you like make your case instead of just saying that there's genocide like happening and all conservatives are to blame.
Harder the first chance we get. The point is to make trans children feel so ashamed and scared of what living as trans would be like under these laws that they either get back in the closet or they commit suicide. The point is to make doctors so afraid of legal or physical backlash that they start refusing to treat kids with HRT before any laws even get enacted, just to be safe. The Republicans introduced a way more comprehensive Don't Say Gay bill on a federal level just to tease it for their base and to scare the shit out of LGBTQ people all over the country. They don't care about bettering Americans' lives. They care about consolidating power and using it to hurt the people they hate. This is clear genocidal intent, if not threats of imminent genocidal action if that power is ever seized again. Part 4. Detransitioning. Lonerbox claims he understands—
Not all segregation, not all discrimination is bad, Vigilante. No one ever, like, you don't even believe that all segregation or all discrimination is bad, all right? Some discrimination is necessary. So, for example, we discriminate against, like, young people when it comes to voting or when it comes to driving. And we also discriminate against old people when we talk about driving, right? Or sometimes voting, depending on, you know, like their mental state. Like we don't allow some people to do some things in society because it's not safe or it's not a good thing for us to be doing, right? So like one of those things that we've done for like time immemorial is making sure that there's a difference between men and women's sports, right? Because women like biologically have a different makeup than men, right? Like men, we have balls, we have testosterone, we have all that shit, all that good shit. Makes our muscles real big. It makes our bones dense, right? That shit's, you know, super based for us, but women don't have that shit. Like cis women don't have that shit, right? Whereas like trans women, depending on how long they've been on hormones, do have those advantages, right? You're right. I do believe. Yeah, exactly. All age discrimination. Fuck them kids, right? But like seriously, when it comes to this stuff, right? I think that gendered segregation when it comes to sports is probably fine. Or sex-based discrimination in this case, right? Like it's probably fine because what we're looking at is like the ability for cis women to ever be competitive in sports ever, right? Now, I have a nuanced take on this, right? I think that there should be a place for trans women to be able to compete in those sports if it's like, you know, if they've been on HRT for a certain amount of time, especially in like high school sports. When we get into college sports, when we get into pro sports, it's a little bit different, and I don't care enough to look at all the data for that. But I'm mostly talking about old people. Okay, well, fair. Okay. Also, fuck old people. I hate all people. But sports aren't fair and they never were. Oh wow, what a brave fucking take from chat right there. Sports were never fair. Like we're talking about like trying to make them as fair as like we reasonably can. If it was like totally fair, right? Like oh well, as long as you like show up, then you have a chance at winning, right? Like that's the fairest it could be. Then you're like defeating the athleticism and the, you know, the effort that they're putting in to be at the top of their game, right? But a cis woman at the top of her game will never be able to beat in many, almost all, I don't know about every single, but many, if not most sports, they'll never be as competitive as a man that is at like the medium of his game in like the Olympics, like Olympic tier, area, right? They can't because of the biology that we have, right? Like if you look at tennis, I know a lot about tennis, okay? Like I don't think Serena Williams could beat like anyone in the men's bracket in like the top, I'm going to say probably top 20. The top 20 men's players, Serena Williams, the best female athlete in the sport of all time, could probably never get close to beating them. She can't beat men in the top 500. I don't know like how good the men are like going down into like the 50s range. So I'm hedging my bets. But at least the top 20. There's no fucking way. The speed that you hit the ball back and forth, the serving speed, right? The ability to like sprint super fast and get to a place very fast. It's just like impossible for a woman to compete with a cis woman to compete with a cis man, right? But that's not to say that trans people should be completely like barred from being in sports, right? So for example, again, like I said earlier, I think that trans women who have been on HRT for a certain amount of time, especially in like high school sports, they should probably be able to participate with the people that they are like most closely aligned with their gender with, right? Like that's probably what ought to happen. Because it doesn't really affect things as long as they've been on HRT for a long enough time. But if they've gone through like the full puberty, they haven't been on HRT for any appreciable amount of time, then like those like young girls are just like kind of fucked. They're never going to be able to compete, right? Or if you have like a trans dude who's been on testosterone, the cis girls are never going to be able to compete.
Understands, quote, as well as he can, how difficult it is to live as and be referred to as a gender different from the one you identify as. He cites having trans friends and a trans partner who have given him insight on this aspect of the trans experience. But Lonerbox, understanding as well as you can obviously has not been enough. You
Cis
don't
people just
understand
can't
how it feels
understand.
to have to consider detransitioning.
You're a troll?
It
I'm
feels
not
like
a
you're
troll. I
conspiring
know more
to
about this
murder
than you.
someone, the part of you that has any chance at happiness.
Not only do I know more about this than you, I'm also just like overall smarter and more more well-read, more intelligent, better looking, bigger dick, all of it. Okay? You do not know more about this than me? All right. Pop in fucking VC then. More smarter? Hell yeah. Isn't Loner's partner literally trans? Well, they referenced a trans partner, but I don't know if that's their that's his current partner or not.
Have you never heard the phrase detransitioning is death? Only about 1% of people who medically transition in any way regret their decision, and most of those people decide to detransition, which is the right choice for them. The other 99% of people who medically transition continue because that's what makes them happy, what allows them to feel confident enough to see people and have social lives. You know, the things we need as social animals, or we're just kind of wither away. I don't know how Lonerbox can say that the extent of what the GOP has done over the last...
What have I said that is incorrect? Name one fucking thing that I've said that's incorrect. How is anything that I've said a troll? I defy you to find one thing that I've said that's incorrect. And I'll wait for this one. I mean, I offered for them to jump into VC if they want to. I know, John, which is why I usually don't carry on like debates over chat. I'm asking them for one example. Gone? Still here? Not here? Okay, well, I guess I'll just continue watching the video.
last few years.
Someone hit exclamation point Discord. Give them the Discord link. I'll keep my eye on the welcome page to see if anyone joins.
Doesn't amount to genocidal intent at the very least. They very clearly want us dead or back in the closet, but because Lonerbox doesn't seem to realize that being forced back in the closet is violence, and because no Republican politician is saying, I'm passing this law to kill trans people, Lonerbox doesn't believe it's happening? Part 5. Historical Precedent and Conclusion. Lonerbox said he would define the Holocaust as a genocide only after 1941, when the final solution was enforced. But someone in Polypeople's chat said it best. The final solution wasn't the start of the genocide. The first concentration camp in Germany was built in 1933. The Crystal...
Yeah, but you can still see the genocidal intent. Trans people do have it the worst right now. Not gonna lie. All right? I'll fucking listen, I'll bite the bullet. I'll say it. All right? Trans people do have it the worst right now. Absolutely. But that doesn't mean that they're being genocided. they probably receive the most hate on a grand scale, right? They don't have like too terribly many people who are like positive representations of them in media that give trans people like a really great name. Like, I mean, just look at the person that the Biden administration decided to interview. Like, and while she did a pretty good job there, like, she's still a fucking weird person that advocates for people to walk around at supermarkets with their, to basically rock out with their cock out.
Knocked happened in 1938. This is how liberalism gives way to fascism. By ignoring clear genocidal intent as long as it's done through legal channels and as long as nobody is advocating
nobody's
directly
saying
for
this.
violence.
Nobody.
The problem is when parties like the Nazis or the modern-day GOP gain enough power that they can
The
change
Nazis
the
are the
laws
GOP.
such that they will never lose that power again. the
Direct
liberals are too
corollaries.
late. By excusing clear genocidal intent as misguided protectionism, the liberals hold water for the fascists until the exact moment they're no longer needed and will then be removed from the political sphere altogether. Altogether, this was a really disappointing debate to watch from Lonerbox. I truly hope he's just misinformed because he lives in the UK, is a cis guy, and just generally doesn't know what it's like to be trans in the US during and after the Trump era. I really want to give him the opportunity to listen to trans people who know what it's like, and I hope he can come away from those conversations realizing the harm the rhetoric he was using can cause, and eventually apologize, both to poly people for his frankly horrible treatment of her in the debate, and to his wider trans audience who he's hopefully having these conversations with.
Okay, we got the background for the debate we're gonna watch. We're watching
Is
it.
being a loser.
Please stop.
I really didn't want to have to make this video.
We just watched you. Fuck off. We're watching this from Demon Mama's perspective because I can't watch Twitch VODs, and it was either watch it from Demon Mama's perspective or watch it from a Twitch VOD, and Twitch VODs crashed my stream. So this is track and field sets. For the most parts, men and women are really close. I can't find any poll on who wants to desegregate it though. I'll look into it. I don't have the stats on it like off the top of my head. But even like the people that are like the best defenders of trans people in sports, like science or Jangles science Jangles lad Jangles, okay? Jangles is like probably the most ardent defender of trans women in sports. And even he says still gotta have some form of like HRT going on. All right. Men and women are really close athletically. Okay. If I look up powerlifting record, men and women. Okay. We'll do powerlifting and we'll do 100-meter dash. $9.58 seconds versus 10.49 seconds. About a second difference. But I need to know what. Okay, all-time top 25 men. All under 10 seconds. And all the women are above 10 seconds. No woman has beaten the 10-second barrier. So, if we were to say that no one needs to take any HRT before going into sports, guess what? No cis woman would ever win. I said close. This isn't close. 9.58 versus 9.63, that's close. In regards to sprint, 100-meter dash, that's close. 9.58, 9.75. That's close. 9.58 and 10.49. That's not close. The top 25 doesn't even get to 10 seconds. No cis woman would ever win a medal ever again if we desegregated sports. Never. It would never happen. At least in track and field. But maybe you're right. Let's look at the powerlifting, not sub juniors. Why would we? Let's go all the way to Masters 4. Okay, I don't even know how to read this. I don't even know how to read this. 1 second. Is there another Wikipedia article? The Wikipedia was so easy to read. That's powerlifting. Fuck. Okay, Andre, however the fuck you say that name. Wait, does this have both men and women? Okay. Let's just look at this one. Squat men 639.3, women. Actually, this one might. The top 100 men's are all under 10 seconds too. Holy shit. The number one is literally half. The number one squat all time is half of what the men's were on squats. But maybe that's just men have very strong legs. Bench full power, 391. Okay, let's go to women. 214. This isn't to say that women are just worse and bad and they should never touch sports ever. It's that men have an advantage biologically when it comes to like their testosterone levels, and we should accommodate different groups of people so that they can all participate in sports at a level that they're competitive at. Because it is. Wait, hold on. But again, Vigilante, you said not all segregation was bad. Not all discrimination is bad. No, segregation, like colloquially would be called that, but the actual term, like, yeah, it is segregated by sex. It's literally the definition of segregation, Casaubon. Okay, never mind.
Some of the evidence included they were bringing grave digging machinery. They were bringing like machinery for.
Okay.
Wait, hold on. Did we miss something? Wait.
All right, let's listen to this. Let's hear what everybody's got to say here.
The sign of whether or not it was intentionally targeted at one particular group. You know, like people in Russia were starving, people in Kazakhstan were starving, and there's like, so you get into like a really murky territory. And if you look at the cases of the Srebrenica massacre in Bosnia, the way that was determined to be a genocide, there's all kinds of like thresholds that had to be met. They had to show like. Some of the evidence included they were bringing grave digging machinery. They were bringing like machinery for.
Okay.
Okay, let's hear what Demon Mama has to say. We're speeding her up.
It's going to depend on the parameters of the discussion, but I don't really care
all that much about whether or not it meets the definition, the UN definition of genocide. The UN definition of genocide is obviously incredibly stringent because the UN is attempting to determine, but in conflicts between multiple nations, which nation has violated international law. So I don't think that's what most people are talking about or care about.
Why? What does genocide mean to you? Was the term genocide not coined? Wait, hold on. When was genocide? Etymology. It was, the word genocide was coined in 1944.
When they're talking about whether or not we are in the midst of a trans genocide.
You know this game, though. It's called Evolving Language to Serve Ideological Interest. Yeah, people fucking do that shit all the time. Yeah.
Most of the time, what people are talking about when they're referring to a trans genocide is that there is a process of continued legal, social, and physical marginalization that is actively attempting to force trans people out of public life, to damage their health, and to restrict their access to needed supplies, whether that's medicine, food, jobs, or whatever. That's usually what people are talking about when they're talking about a genocide, not whether or not whether or not it represents a UN legal definition of a genocide. But it might even. Let's take a look.
It won't. Should watch her fucking twist this shit so hard because I've read
Here we go,
the
UN.org. The crime
the
of
limits
genocide.
for genocide.
Let's take a look. Definition. In the present convention, genocide means any of the following acts committed with intent to destroy, in whole or in part, a national, ethnic, racial, or religious group, such as killing members of the group, causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group, deliberately inflicting on a group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part, imposing measures intended to prevent births within the group, forcibly transferring children of the group to another group. Okay, listen, guys, let me just talk about something real quick before we get into this any further, because this is a topic I'm pretty fucking serious about. Right here, this is on the law books in a lot of states. Many states in the United States still require that you get sterilized, that you have a sterilizing surgery in order to change your public-facing documents. AKA, you either leave yourself open to discrimination, explicit discrimination, obvious discrimination by having an ID, by having all of your paperwork not match who you are.
I am blown the fuck away. Holy shit. Can I turn the quality up on this so that I can read it? Okay, I'm not going to be able to read it like this. 1 second. This is insane. Oh my god, it's actually too small to read. Kill a physical element which includes the following acts enumerated exhaustively: killing members of the group, causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part. Keep in mind. Where is it? The intent to destroy, in whole or in part, a national, ethnical, racial, or religious group. Oh yeah, Annadelle, exactly. None of these trans people, unless there's some trans fucking ethno state out there, I don't think it's either a nationality or an ethnicity. I mean, like, you might try to call wokeness or like trans ideology some sort of religion, but I feel like it falls short of that definition. And what was the other one? Religious, national, or ethnic, or racial. Yeah, and they're not a fucking race, so
you are, or you get sterilized. That, it alone, just that fact, the fact that there are numerous American states that have on the law books a requirement for sterilization fits this right here, okay?
Can you give us an example?
Transferring children of the group to another group, this is another one that is currently in attempt. Thankfully, this is not a legal clear area, aka despite the fact that people constantly try to have trans people's children taken away, they don't always succeed, but they are very much trying. Yeah, hold on, let me... They're in the state that in
Also,
my home state.
yes, if there was some law passed that showed that they were trying to take away like children who were like receiving trans healthcare from their parents, like yeah, of course, at that point, yeah, we're now in genocide territory, or not even genocide territory. Like people could use self-defense to protect their children from the state. One second. Hello. One second, guys. All right, back.
Now this has changed since, but when I was getting my name changed, it was required that I show proof of medical treatment. Now thankfully, my doctor was willing to sign off on me having gotten medical treatment. The requirement is technically supposed to be for surgery, but my endocrinologist basically worded the letter vaguely enough that he never actually said that I got surgery, but he said that his medical opinion was approved, and that allowed me to change my name. Now this law has since changed, but that's literally...
Wait,
that's
if the law changed, then why are you complaining about it being a current genocide? Does that make any fucking sense to anybody?
The books in many states. So, yeah. Now, let's talk about some of the other ones. Deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part. Trans people have a highly disproportionate rate of on-the-job discrimination.
You are not a national group, a nationality. You are not an ethnic group. You are not a racial group, and you are not a religious group. So you don't meet the, like, it's not going to be genocide. You can say that life is really shitty, but like people aren't rounding you guys up into fucking camps. People aren't rounding you guys up into fucking like detention centers and trying to forcibly detrans you. That's not fucking happening. That's not what is happening in the United States. And the example that you gave about requiring sterilization, you even just said that it's no longer a law in the books. It doesn't make any fucking sense. They want to be, it's like they are trying to find ways to say like, yeah, no, we're being genocide. We're being genocide. Like they fucking want it.
They have a highly disproportionate rate of mental health, of homelessness. They have
all of these things can also, like everything that, let's hear all of them. Because I'm pretty sure so far, everything that she's saying also applies to fucking black people. Are black people currently getting genocided in the United States? It's just so fucking dumb.
A highly disproportionate rate of untreated mental illness. They have a highly disproportionate rate of being disowned by their family.
Everything except for the last one applies to black people. And people getting disowned by their family does not a genocide make. It has nothing to do with the state enacting intent to destroy the group in part or in whole.
This is supported, and by the way, once again, this is supported not only socially, which is very important, but also legally. Not only, I mean, trans people, literally, it's only been since Joe Biden was elected that trans people were even allowed back into the military. They were banned explicitly from the military. What kind of a message does that send about discriminating against trans people? What kind of effect?
Wait, didn't Obama get rid of don't ask, don't tell? Maybe I'm wrong on that. I don't have like deep knowledge of what happened in like the 2000s politically.
Yep, here you go. Here's another example. Thank you very much for that, anonymous platype. Exploring trans people's experience of adoption and fostering in the United Kingdom. This is in the UK, not the US, but that's okay. I think they're talking about both. Oh yeah, and not to mention, by the way,
no,
in the UK,
you can't say that there's a genocide happening in the United States and reference all these fucking laws and then say, oh well, this is happening in the UK. Bro, this is the fucking United States, dog. It's so. I can't. No, that's the thing, Shyla. Like, they literally mean genocide. If it was a situation where they were using it as a term to just rally people, I would be criticizing the language that they used. But instead, they're literally saying that trans people are being genocided. To the point where like other streamers that I've tried to argue about this with have said like it's time to start arming trans people, as if giving trans people guns, like there's like a million reasons wrong with that. Like, number one, trans people are the like highest suicide risk in the United States, in the world maybe. All right, they are the highest group at risk for suicide, and having a gun in your house increases your chances of successfully committing suicide by like several orders of magnitude. Number two, what are the trans people going to do with the guns? Do you think that giving a trans person a fucking RPD is suddenly going to give them the ability to get trans-affirming healthcare in fucking Florida and fucking Texas and fucking Arkansas? No, it's fucking not. So arming trans people isn't going to do anything. That's not going to stop the supposed genocide that is currently unfolding. I don't know what number one, where is the genocide? Number two, what is the prescriptions that you're saying that trans people ought to do to make it stop happening? Because it's always violence with these people. It's always fucking violence. And like I said earlier, if there are trans, like anti-trans legislation going through, and there are, then there's a million different ways that we can go about trying to get rid of those bills. We can start pushing for people to, go out and vote and get their representatives elected so that trans-affirming healthcare is available to people, which is obviously a fucking good thing. We want people who are trans to be able to get the care that they need so that they their bodies are more aligned with their minds, so that they are no longer being discriminated against because they don't pass, or if they're unable to pass, then maybe we can try to move society in a way that is more accepting of people who are trans and don't pass. Like there's so many things that we can do to try and stop the discrimination going on in the United States. But none of these people are actually seemingly concerned with doing any of those things. It's just violence, revolution now, and we're having a genocide, so any action that we take against conservatives is justified.
In the UK, there are, there is a high level of media attention given to people who explicitly state that they want to reduce the number of trans people. And of course, I don't even need to go into the unbelievably disproportionate rate of violent crime done against trans people. Okay, so let's get back to this. Let's listen to this conversation. I didn't expect us to have this stuff, but whatever.
They're digging holes and the generals couldn't explain why they brought it there. They have quotes of people talking about, we take revenge on the people who stole our land and all that stuff. So I think when you use the term genocide, I don't really know exactly. I think if we're just going pure descriptivism, I don't think it's enough at all. I think if we're talking about rhetorically, I think there are sometimes people who use the word genocide to be rhetorically effective. I think that's understandable in cases. I think when it comes to the case of trans issues in America, I just don't know.
So if the state is trying to,
There are
What is going on in chat right now? Holy fucking shit. Are we like actually gonna argue in paragraph form about don't ask, don't tell? Really? Is this just like, is this what my life is? Every single time I talk about a topic, chat is gonna argue about the most fucking useless side tangent of all fucking time? God damn. Fucking annoying as shit.
currently, wait, do we not remember that just this year, Greg Abbott passed laws criminalizing people taking their kids
It's
to
a
get
tangent.
medically necessary, deemed medically necessary trans healthcare? Does that not extremely easily fit the definition of the UN definition of genocide?
Because here's the thing. When it comes to trans affirming healthcare, not all trans, like, if trans healthcare was medically like necessary in order to survive, then we would expect to see like people who are older trans before these procedures or these hormone therapies or anything like that. We'd expect to see a 100% suicide rate, but we don't. We see a very high suicide rate, but it is not like literally medically necessary to survive. It does make their life really shitty, and we should advocate for people to be able to get those things, but like, it does not make it literally impossible to survive. If we banned trans healthcare, but society moved in a way that was more caring and more accepting of trans people, we would probably see a pretty steep decline in the suicide rate of trans people still. It would still be higher than the national average, but the like biggest reason that people who are trans commit suicide isn't even the fact that their bodies don't align with their, you know, their minds, right? It's that society itself like castigates them and treats them like absolute fucking shit. They can't find jobs in some cases. They can't find you know, like their families disown them. Their lives are made shitty by society, not just by the fact that their bodies don't align with their minds. And I'm using like, of course, like there's like a deeper philosophical stuff to like the body mind divide when it comes to like trans stuff, but I'm using that as shorthand for this, for the purposes of this conversation.
Force deliberately putting people in the position that they what's it called?
The gay suicide rate was super fucking high. It was very high before gay people were accepted in society. And I'll even say it was lower than the trans suicide rate, but gay people are less like visibly gay than trans people who are who have like socially transitioned are visibly trans. Source? Google it, dumb fuck.
Hold on, I just closed the fucking window. I want to make sure we're being very careful with the wording here since this is the topic. Here we go. Hold on, let me just read this one more time. Deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part. Does not passing laws that criminalize parents for taking their children to get medically necessary medical care based on political means fit that definition? I think that fits the definition explicitly. Not to mention the fact that now states like Florida, for example, have put into position laws that involve forcing cis people to track their periods in order to guarantee that trans people cannot participate in gendered activities such as sports. Yeah, exactly. Greg had the Texas CPS go after families that had trans kids. Yes, it literally required federal intervention to make that happen. Like, to make that, to stop
Politics
that
for
from happening.
life.
Greg Abbott.
You're not actually contributing anything. Take a 5-minute timeout. Holy fuck. Annoying.
He was literally telling CPS people not to officially record it in case federal attention came in. They were going after families. There were families with trans kids that fled the state because of that. And even, yes, exactly. I know that some groups are still doing it. Texas is in a hell state right now. Anyway, let's continue.
If the state does two things, with state power directly naming, saying trans kids must be taken away from their parents, plus we're going to now introduce laws to eliminate people's ability to get insurance for transition-related care, and then, you know, move up from there to make it functionally more difficult to...
Sondsol, right, your suicidality comment gets fucking hammered, and so I didn't even read your fucking comment. You're just being a bitch in my chat about literally everything to do with trans people. It's just annoying as fuck. It's annoying as fuck. Like, comment on the fucking video, comment on, you know, like something that someone says in chat, but like starting 45 goddamn discussions about side tangent things that I like mentioned for a fucking brief fucking second is really fucking annoying. It clutters up my chat and I can't even fucking see if anyone's trying to refer to me in my own fucking chat. You little trigger child? I'm the little trigger child. The guy that's typing paragraphs for hours in my chat is calling me the trigger child.
Exist as a trans person, like it's surely you could at least infer that the intent is there, right?
Oh yeah, intent's there. Yeah, lots of people have like what I would call
genocidal
if
intent.
it's not genocidal. Yeah, lots of people have intent, but
Yeah,
then
including, by the way, the entire GOP. The GOP's official platform is anti-trans. The GOP's official platform is anti-trans. The GOP's leaders are all jumping on board, calling trans people groomers. They don't even use the word trans people anymore. They just say the liberal groomers. They've replaced in the GOP's lexicon. They have replaced the word LGBT with groomers.
I was about to hammer on something, but
so fucked up. That is such a level of high level genocidal intent from the mouths of one of the two parties in America.
need to think to actually. So I think as far as I know with Texas, this stuff changes a lot.
So you're not willing to call it a genocide until the genocide happens, until people start what? Like, when is it going to be an actual genocide where it's, you know, you're cool with calling it a genocide? How many people have to...
This is the case with any genocide, right? Like, you don't call it genocide until it's actually happened, right?
Is it the camps? Like, when is it going to be enough to say it's... I mean, like it seems to me that you're giving too much room to say that what's going on right now is not the beginnings of a genocide, right? You're saying there's not enough genocidal activity.
It's not just the beginnings. It's not just the beginnings. It's only very recently that
Sondsol
any
just
attention has been paid to the fact that
Sondsol just committed a genocide. Yeah, very fucking true. Genocide all annoying chatters in chat in Roblox.
trans people are often forced to go to be when they're arrested. Like if a trans person is arrested for a crime, trans people are most frequently forced to go into prisons that are the opposite the opposite gender of what they identify as. AKA, they're forced to go into a prison that matches their birth certificate, regardless of their current state, which always puts them in danger. That in and of itself qualifies. I think it was a mistake to say that we should only I don't know what this.
Zonia, can you make it a streamable link? Because if I click a Twitch clip, it's gonna kill my stream. I'm about to. Oh wait, hold on. Are there any tech geeks in chat? How do I see what kind of RAM I have? Because I need to order some more. I need to upgrade my RAM. I need to download some more RAM from Amazon.com. And I'm hoping that might fix the issue with Twitch clips just gutting my fucking stream every single time I play one.
Person's pronouns are. I think they. I'll just use they for
yeah.
now.
Do that on Twitter.
I think it was a mistake for them to say like, oh, well, what are we supposed to wait until it happens? It is happening. There are qualifiable aspects going on right now in the United States, in multiple states, that absolutely qualify as genocide. Trans people are marginalized and forced into positions that we have documented data of the increased mortality rate, of the increased rate of.
I want to hear fucking Lonerbox speak, not you. Fuck off, dumb poverty.
Comfortable saying it's a
Okay, she, her. Okay, I'll use that.
Going on yet for me to be comfortable saying it's a genocide, but like would the Nuremberg laws have been enough? Even though maybe there wasn't enough relocation of Jews in Germany. Like the beginnings of a genocide, of course, there's going to be people that deny it's going on, but I don't want you to be one of them. Is what I'm saying. I guess that's my point.
Okay, yeah. So first of all, of course the thing has to happen before it's a genocide. Okay, otherwise it's not a genocide. Otherwise you can call it like a build-up. There's nothing wrong with saying that. Hang on, I'm gonna start taking notes because there was quite a lot in there. Can you just go back to the second last thing you said? I can't remember.
Well, I was trying to analogize to so I don't know the exact details of how the what happened on or about the time the Nuremberg laws.
I remember. Yeah, I remember. So with that definition of them trying to, I guess, to erase.
Really quick, this is not telling me what it just says that I have 8 gigabytes of RAM. I thought I had 16, but I have 8 gigabytes of RAM, but it doesn't tell me if it's DDR4 or DDR3, and I have no fucking clue how to tell.
Is the identity, which I absolutely think they're trying to do. If you want to call it like trans erasure, and by the way, I think trans erasure is incredibly fucking alarming, and that's what, and I think especially with America and all the Tennessee laws and all that, like I'm not.
Oh,
the first thing I want to
control
get out of the
panel?
way. If we're arguing over terminology with genocide, I don't think that makes me any less alarmed than anyone else. Okay, this is about terminology. When it comes to calling it a genocide, I think with your definition, then you could call so many things a genocide. You could call the treatment of British Muslims a genocide, right? Or at least the early stages of a genocide, because they do things like they try to do like secularization. Like if you want to be a British citizen, you have to like demonstrate things like you have to swear allegiance to the Queen and do all these things that might be like against like
So
that's not even close to the same. Trans people's entire lives are impeded legislatively. Every single trans person I know has met some roadblock, some legal roadblock in getting the medical health care they need. That's not the same thing. I do agree there's egregious discrimination against British Muslims, but that's not even close to the swearing allegiance to the Queen is not the same fucking thing. Not even close. Nuts says, memes aside, Lonerbox is like an actual leftist. He should be better than this. Yeah. Killjoy 40K says, what Lonerbox is doing is similar to what Nazis do with Holocaust denial. I don't think he's doing it deliberately, but he's made a goalpost that can't be met except in hindsight, meaning nothing is a genocide until after it's already too late. Yeah, yeah.
faith, or they'll actually detain kids for having like Arabic writing on their t-shirts because they think that because
Fucking terrible.
a teacher thought it looked like a terrorist symbol.
Pause,
right? So they will
Andy.
do lots
Holy
of crazy
fuck.
shit. But again, like we don't call it a genocide, and we don't really need to fight it. You know?
Well, so I'm not going to address exactly that point because I don't know enough about it. But let me tell you this: the reason why we say that transphobes assert that we don't exist is because they attempt to erase who we are, who we are like as people, and say and to just claim that we are at best they'll claim we're something we're not. At worst, they will just make it so that life is unlivable for us. And so I think denying somebody's religion is you could, I don't know if you need to, but you could certainly distinguish denying somebody their right to free expression of religion to denying somebody their right to exist such that their mental health will certainly be, or life will essentially be unlivable by design. Right? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, and I guess you can say that that's what happens with, say, like the cultural genocide that's happening in China is they're taking Muslims and taking them into re-education.
Hey, what's going on in China is a genocide. It's not just a cultural genocide. In China, there are deliberate attempts.
So are we just not using the definition of genocide? Like they're arguing the definition of a word while ignoring the actual definition? Yes, because there seems to be some fascination recently with just like taking the most extreme like term for something and then applying it. So let's say someone when they were in high school, a white dude in high school used like the soft A in word, right? That man is a racist. He couldn't have just been like a cringy white kid who was like fucking 16 years old. That guy was a racist who hated black people. If someone thinks that trans women in sports is a very either like nuanced thing that needs like time and effort to figure out what the correct approach to allow everyone to be able to compete in sports at a competitive level, that person is transphobic. They hate trans people. Oh, there's trans legislation that is kind of really shitty to trans people. This is a genocide. Task manager, click on memory and look at the upper right of the window and see size and type. Okay, let me reopen up task manager because I've been looking off at the side over here trying to find said. Okay, I have task manager. Memory is not an option.
To reduce the population, to control the population, to literally reduce childbirth. Like, there was a number of examples of this, of them pressuring Muslim people, weaker Muslims, pressuring them to get, or either forcibly sterilizing them in camps, or and also heavily pressuring them to get sterilized, or to get sterilized of their own volition under incredible duress. We're doing Uyghur genocide denialism. No, I understand. It's funny. It is funny that like he's sliding back on his definition in other genocides in order to defend this position. I tend to think Lonerbox is pretty well intentioned, but I feel like so far this is a miss.
Centers and sending them out as non-Muslims, like they dress like they don't wear their veils anymore and things like that, and they cook different food. Like again, that's like state agents taking them into camps and enforcing it. That's why that's a cultural genocide.
It's not just a cultural genocide. That is just a normal genocide. deliberately erasing, moving people from one place to another,
Doesn't tell
separating
me.
people from their families and their children in order to re-educate them is just a genocide.
So to swear that trans people don't exist again, like, so does that mean that, I guess, up until
Hippie Punk says this is the same logic that Chomsky uses to say that Srebrenica wasn't a genocide, and what Tankies used to blow off Xinjiang. This is not a road to go down. I agree. I think this is a mistake.
a certain point in the 20th century, then like homosexuality was, gay people were just being genocided for the entire like 10,000 years of humanity or whatever before gay people started to get recognized? Was that genocide?
Do you think that, okay, so say that the intent, so do you generally accept that the idea that transition-related healthcare is important for trans people to live, you know?
Yeah, just out of interest, why do you think I would say no?
Wait, that isn't a, okay, so just to be clear, as far as objective knowledge can go, we have had an abundance of studies that allowing trans people to transition absolutely increases their likelihood of good mental health outcomes, drastically reduces the rate of suicide. Because, as it turns out, we have documented evidence that trans people undergo extreme duress from having to live as a gender that they do not identify as. That is like what trans 101, okay? And not just a matter of trans 101, that's been well studied. Killjoy says, my experience with this is when people feel this way about genocide, it's generally because they have a mythology in their head about genocide where they can't imagine anything that is currently happening to be genocide, because genocides are what happened during other people's lifetimes. Like, they have some control over the world while they're alive. It could still slice through the propaganda and see what's happening if it was in their lifetime. Yeah. Let's continue.
Go to that.
Well, because I'm trying to understand why you would analogize between a cultural genocide of religious people, you know, which is bad, and I'm not even going to say that's not a genocide because it sounds genocidal. But I don't know enough about it to really debate the point. But I do know that denying trans people healthcare will kill them, and that's the intent, to kill trans people by making.
Okay, I just disagree with this. I think that, like, in the past, I don't know, 10 years, we have seen a massive uptick in the amount of people or in the amount of, oh man, every single word that's going through my head right now is the wrong word. Not validation, the acceptance for trans people, right? We've seen a massive uptick in the amount of acceptance for trans people. That's not to say that it's nearly what it ought to be, right? That's not to say that we're at a perfect place, right? But we have seen a massive uptick in the acceptance of trans people, right? The person who we watched their video where it was basically giving us the rundown of what this debate was going to be about, that person referenced some study or some polling that showed that, like, most conservatives, which for some reason, I doubt this, but they said that most conservatives don't even support anti-trans legislation, which I find incredibly difficult to believe. But, you know, like, that's just what their polling said. So if that's the case, then, like, I don't know. One second, go back
They
just
have
a little bit.
a mythology in their head about genocide where they can't imagine
Genocide of religious people, you know, which is bad, and I'm not even going to say that's not a genocide because it sounds genocidal. But I don't know enough about it to really debate the point. But I do know that denying trans people healthcare will kill them.
That's right, the intent part. So, like, I don't think that you can jump from people are, like, spookied out by political talking points, and let's be clear, that's what they are, because most people on the left, and I'm talking about, like, broadly left, talk about from liberals to progressives to leftists to socialists to Maoists, like, you know, well, actually, a lot of those communists are, like, very socially conservative, but you know what I mean? Like, all these people, even them, are, like, a little bit not 100% on board with, like, the hyper online trans like rhetoric that's going on right now, especially around, like, trans genocide or shit like that, you know? So if we don't even see people on the left agreeing with this, right? But there is an uptick in the amount of people that are supportive of trans people and think that, hey, you know what? Your body, your choice, whatever. As long as you're not doing it to minors, I don't really care. If we see that, then there's probably not an intent to kill trans people out there, you know?
And that's the intent, to kill trans people by making life unlivable.
Okay, so then again,
the Donald Trump admin, do you guys remember when the Donald Trump admin published guides
No,
to
Zonia
the,
doesn't
to
think
the
there
Health
is.
and Human Services? They published a memo to the official. I'm talking literally the Department of Health and Human Services that taught people how to spot trans women, to see if trans women were inappropriately going to women's shelters. Do you remember that? That was like 2 years ago. That was on the books. That in and of itself. And this isn't like
Is
just
that
some
genocide?
People. That was the presidency, the president, the federal government
And is that the law now? Fuck, dude.
published a memo teaching people how to spot so they could discriminate against trans women. Guys, I'm really unimpressed with Lonerbox's approach here.
so
Let's
now
give it a chance.
when you say intent like that, it sounds like you are appealing to stay within like a definition. So yeah, I wouldn't.
So-
again, like,
so would it
first of all,
be-
with religion? Just to be clear, I said what's happening to Muslims in the UK is not enough for a genocide. It's systemic discrimination. It's state, like, it's abusive and all that. Yeah. I said what's happening in China is more clearly like cultural genocide because
Here we go. Elements of the crime of genocide. This is from the official, by the way, UN.org. This is the official UN website. The popular
see it
understanding of what
stretch.
constitutes genocide tends to be broader than the content of the norm under international law. Article 2 of the Genocide Convention contains a narrow definition of the crime of genocide, which includes two main elements. A mental element, the intent to destroy, in whole or in part, a national, ethnic, racial, or religious group as such. The entire GOP is on board with this. The GOP is one of two parties in the United States, and they were just in power, and they easily fit this. 2, a physical element, which includes the following 5 acts enumerated exhaustively. Killing members of the group, causing serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group, deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction, in whole or in part, imposing measures intended to prevent births. There we go, right there. Forcibly transferring children of the group to another group. Okay, sorry, that is the UN's most stringent definition.
It's literally the exact same. Wait, what was different about that article and the one that she read earlier?
Of genocide, and we already are fairly within that.
I get this is worth talking about for the people who are trans, but at what point do politicians decide this minority is too small to dedicate this much political capital to? The Republicans are going to use trans people as a boogeyman until people are they socialize within us trans people to where they don't feel like spooked out by them. Which people like Demon Mama make that really hard because she'll unironically say like attack helicopter gender is valid because as long as you identify as something, it is your gender. And there doesn't have to be anything else there. It doesn't have to be any kind of like underlying fact of the matter where like internally you feel like a woman or you feel like a man or something like that. There doesn't have to be anything like that. It's just simply like saying, yeah, I identify as an attack helicopter. That makes it your literal gender. And she's defended that explicitly on her show. So like when we have people like that out there, it makes that really hard. But Republicans are going to use trans people as a boogeyman until they are no longer like scary to most people. And Democrats are going to use them as, like the people that they must protect. This is who we're protecting because they love to virtue signal. And until the Republicans stop using them as a boogeyman, then the Democrats are going to continue using them as, their little political pawns. And the unfortunate fact is, like, trans people simply want to get they want to get the healthcare. They don't care about all of the other political games unless you're like a crazy, like ultra anarchist person like Demon Mama. I guess I get that. I guess I think it would be harder to make them the boogeyman if one of the two parties was not championing legislation for them. But that's the thing. Like the legislation for trans people, it doesn't affect anyone but trans people, right? Like it just like makes it to where healthcare is more available, right? Now you could make the argument, and I think that you could have a valid argument insofar as like how loose or how stringent should these laws be, right? Who should have access to them, et cetera, right? Those are valid arguments that you can make, right? Because I think that like obviously we should have some laws that like make it to where like you're not operating on like an 8-year-old child and turning them trans, right? But the thing is, that doesn't fucking happen. I don't think that there's ever been a sex reassignment surgery on a child, right? But that doesn't matter when you can, and the left does this a lot with conservatives too. So before like people start saying like, oh, you're just vilifying conservatives, the left does this with conservatives too. Like, Republicans just want to kill all black people or some shit like that. Or like Demon Mom is doing here, conservatives want to kill all trans people. But if you can create a moral panic out of something, and by virtue of that, sorry, Shyla, don't I understand it's a joke, but like I've moved off of making jokes like that because people absolutely take that shit super seriously. And it does, like, I think that those kinds of jokes only hurt trans people in the long run. Um, like, I understand that you mean it as a joke, but like, I've moved off of like the joking indoctrination of children because people are super protective of their children, you know? But all right, catch you later, Vigilante. But, okay, what was I saying? I was saying that, uh, moral panics and oh yeah, as long as you can have um the ability to turn it into a moral panic where like people are obviously going to be very protective of their children. People are like freaked out by like some of the headlines that they see. Depending on how well you're able to like push that messaging out, you can make them the boogeyman for like the smallest of reasons, right? Like a lot of the pro-trans legislation out there isn't really all that like wide reaching, right? It's not like saying that like we can turn like an 8-year-old into a trans woman with like corrective penile surgery, right? Like that doesn't happen, right? It doesn't happen with the lack of anti-trans legislation, right? It's not like we have to ban this because it doesn't happen in the first place. There's no legislation out there protecting 8-year-olds getting like vaginoplasty, I think it's called, right? Hold on. I said 8-year-olds politics for life. You're doing the fucking thing again. Don't fucking post things. I said 8-year-olds. Now, moving on to what politics for life is saying here, all right? It is also a thing that we could start making arguments about at what age do they start receiving this healthcare. And I think that there are arguments that are legitimate about teenagers as young as like 15 and 16 receiving this kind of healthcare in a legitimate way and it being good for them. And I think that if we do go too far with allowing people to get it too easily, that people can absolutely like get it and regret it, right? Which is why we need to be careful. The unfortunate thing for a lot of progressives and for trans people, right, is that the like medical side of transness is not it's not settled. The science isn't settled. Although it points in a very, very specific direction. It does point towards trans people receiving health care that is gender affirming does lead to a lower suicidality rate and a higher quality of life for trans people. This much we do know. But we also see that there is a large amount of like, especially young trans people that end up desisting after a couple of years. So when do we make the call, and how do we know that the call is right to allow people to receive this kind of healthcare, especially the more permanent solutions like mastectomies or like full sex reassignment surgeries, right? How do we decide at what age people get those surgeries? And this is complicated by the fact that it's not like it's just so easy as waiting until they're 18 and they can make the decision for themselves, as a lot of the things that people are trying to avoid is going through that sexed puberty, right? So that like these things all make this an ultra difficult conversation to have, so at the end of the day, we're still trying to figure out what the correct thing is, but we can go based off of what the science says right now. We can try to make the best call that we can, as is the case with all of medical science throughout all of human history. Okay, there were like I made a joke about lobotomizing a chatter who was being retarded in chat earlier, and I apologize to my friend in chat for the ableist language. I have a pass. I am neurodivergent, but the okay. Before I look at Oreo Bandit's chat here, medical science is always going to be evolving, and we have to make the best call that we know at the time is like the best thing that we can do based off of all the evidence that we have. And based off of the evidence that we have, we do know that like gender affirming care helps. Now, I think that if Republicans would back off of the arguments on puberty blockers, I think that puberty blockers are a legitimate thing that helps us find that middle ground where, okay, we can give puberty blockers to young teens who are going through the sexed puberty that they don't want to go through. And if they end up desisting, you know, right? Now, there are some things that we should worry about with puberty blockers, but I think that on one hand, going too far and banning puberty blockers and then making all trans people go through the puberty that they don't want to go through is going to be damaging to trans people. And on the other side, not allowing puberty blockers and then letting people go through with HRT or the like more aggressive surgeries is going to be damaging to people that end up desisting. So I think that right now, puberty blockers are probably our best stopgap, but Republicans don't even want to let that go through. So it's just like this mind fucking thing where like Republicans went all the way one direction. Democrats are like ideologically split all over the place where there's like a middle ground for like the majority of people. Let's be honest, like liberals are going to be in the middle on this one where they're like, yeah, puberty blockers, or like if you're like wait till you're 18 to get the surgeries. I think that that's where like most liberals are, or maybe like 17. But most liberals aren't going to be saying, yeah, 12-year-olds should be getting their titties chopped off or their dick turned into a vagina, right? That's just not where the United States is right now. So I don't understand why like the best stopgap we have is being 1,000,000%, you know, attacked by conservatives. I'm not trying to sound like, but what is the reason behind gender affirming gender dysphoria rather than attempting to treat it as a mental illness? So this is also something that should be studied, but we don't have enough. We don't have the success rate of getting people to desist in their transness. I'm using the best language that I can right now. We don't have a good success rate at getting them to no longer feel gender dysphoria simply through therapy. There is no known therapy besides gender affirming care, whether it's HRT or the surgeries. And also, on top of that, a lot of trans people don't even go through with the surgeries. A lot of them are totally fine with just living on the estrogen or testosterone, depending on which way they're transitioning. So I think that this is like the conversation that needs to be had. Like where do we draw the line on when surgeries are allowed? Where are we going to allow puberty blockers to be allowed to be used? And if liberals have their way, like I'm talking about broad Democrats in the United States, if the Democrats had their way, broadly speaking, I think that it would probably look something like this. It would probably look like something like we're allowing puberty blockers as long as you go to a psychologist or something like that. They say, okay, it seems like everyone affected by this issue would benefit from it not being politicized and firmly in the realm of science and medicine. Yeah, I agree. I would love for that to happen. And I think 99.99% of trans people also want that. Unfortunately, we have schizophrenic people like fucking Demon Mama over here that are constantly saying that we have a trans genocide going on and that you can literally identify as an attack helicopter, which is, again, this isn't me like misquoting her or being a straw man. This is literally what she said. So take that as you will. But yeah, trans people are being caught up as like scapegoats by the right and, you know, pawns by the left in the United States. If the Democrats had their way, as I was going to finish earlier, I think it would look something like we would make it to where people go to a psychologist and or a therapist. I don't know which, I'm not a fucking doctor or psych major or anything, but like they would go to some medical professional. They would be diagnosed as having gender dysphoria, they would be given, especially at like a young age, they would be given some kind of puberty blocker, and then they would revisit the psychologist every 6 months, 1 year, and then they would get physicals to make sure that nothing's fucking up. You know? So, like, that's probably, I think that's probably where we would be seeing things. Like, there would be like medical intervention, and the surgeries probably wouldn't happen until late teenage years at the earliest. I think that that's where we would see where the Democrats come in legislatively. But when it comes to Republicans, they don't even want those stopgaps where like a psychologist can even diagnose someone with gender dysphoria without like fear of having their license revoked right now. And that's so unbelievably fucked. How do we find a middle ground between what is the middle ground, right? Because the far left, like Demon Mama, they would say like they're like HRT should be an over-the-counter medicine, and you can identify as anything you want, and like, you know, all this fucking crazy stuff where they're literally brewing like estrogen in their fucking bathtubs and handing out that information to fucking minors like a fucking lunatic, right? And the so like that's the far left position. The far right position is allow no one this fucking healthcare. And the Democrats, I think, are pretty fucking centrist on this. And unfortunately, the Democrats are being made out to be like these fucking lunatics that want to chop off little girls' titties and little boys' dicks. And it's just like, bro, how do we find a midpoint between what is the midpoint and no healthcare? An unnecessary amount of suffering? It's just crazy. You don't have to, like, I know a lot about this, and I've thought about this a lot, and I have very close friends that are trans, so I've talked about that a lot with them. So like, I know about this, and I care about this because I care about it on behalf of my friends that are trans. So I want them to have the best life possible. And I feel like people like Demon Mama and Polly are making their lives significantly worse because they give so much ammunition to conservatives to say that trans kids are being, you know, indoctrinated into transness. The middle ground is this: we recognize that some children will display some degree of gender confusion, and that the reasonable approach is not to instantly push these children into therapy where the therapists have an interest in socially transition. Okay, this is where you go completely off the fucking walls. Everything up to this point not instantly push children into everything right there, I agree with. You won't even allow them to go to therapy, motherfucker? You won't even let them go to motherfucking therapy? Because you assume that, what, there's some sort of therapist fucking cabal that's confusing children into chopping their dicks off? Really? That's what your fucking position is, retard? Take your meds! Holy shit! You won't even say that therapy is an acceptable fucking thing! You're literally insane.
That. I think Lonerbox is really
the
wrong.
intent is there to destroy the religion. It's there, and the state is actually.
The intent is 50% of the definition, a demonstrable intent. And keep in mind that the intent by the GOP goes way.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. This is really funny. Yeah, the intent is 50% of the definition, and the other 50% is saying that it's nationality, racial groups, ethnic groups, and religions, not fucking genders, dumb fuck. You said, yeah, that's only half of the definition. Yeah, because the other half of the definition doesn't support that there's a trans genocide also. No, the problem is that the therapists that they will be referred to have an interest in affirming this confusion. Oh, wow. Holy shit. Well, then we should just literally just like never allow anyone gender affirming care because there's a cabal of therapists that are always going to trans children. Why? Oh man, we should never go to the doctor because the doctor has an incentive to prescribe you medications. You should never call a plumber because they're always going to be incentivized to tell you there's something wrong with your pipes. I don't think anyone should change someone's mind after calling them subhuman. Yet, true, But it feels so good to do it. All right.
way farther than what they've managed to succeed in law.
Seizing people and putting them into education camps that they can't leave and forcing them to change their cultures. That's why
Conversion therapy is legal in many U.S. states. Conversion therapy is
And there are people that are trying to make it illegal.
legal.
the threshold is just so much higher. So that's why I'm kind of analogizing British Muslims more, because I don't think that's a genocide. But again, the intent to kill people, that would put the burden on you. I don't think there's any written statements from people and saying that we're trying to get rid of trans healthcare or trans education rights and all that because we want to kill trans people, right?
So is that what it would take? The law would have to say we would like to, our goal is to kill trans people. That's
well, you said that. You said that the intent is there.
It absolutely.
Killjoy says, wouldn't half a genocide definition still pretty much qualify as a genocide? If you're planning on doing
No.
genocide, means you should probably be treated as though you're about to commit a genocide? Yeah. That's why I'm saying that strict adherence to
the half of the definition is dependent on the other half. You have to have the intent to destroy a group in whole or part, but then they lay out what groups define a genocide. And gender is not one of those groups. If you want to expand it to gender, then you would have to show the intent.
to the UN definition is bullshit. Strict adherence to the UN definition here is only useful for the UN. The UN, which is tasked with having to resolve national conflicts to avoid war. That's not what anyone else is doing. The rest of us are trying to avoid being genocided. It absolutely fits the definition for every reason that any trans activist would have to call it a genocide. It absolutely fairly meets those definitions. No trans activist is operating on the level of the UN. We're operating.
There are no fucking trans advocacy groups out there right now saying that there is a trans genocide. This is a purely Vosh orbiter fucking thing.
On the level of the United States and what we have going on in the United States, wherein there is both intent and examples of current laws that are doing this. Thank you very much, worshiper of the Olympians.
Absolutely is. How could it not be? No, it absolutely is. For trans people, they.
I wonder if the person that subbed the champion of the Olympians is the Hellenic polytheist that came at me during the vampire arc. That's because Politics for Life does not want to change his mind. He just wants to come in here and schizo post.
Want to kill us. They want to kill us. Yes. How do you not know this? Yes, they do. They want to make it unlivable. That's what they did in Germany. You know.
Why do you think that? Okay, you guys saw that. You guys saw the Trump rally that we watched the other day, right? Where they were screaming about how groomers are coming for your kids. They don't discriminate between which trans people are the good ones and which are the bad. They're all.
Say what you will about me, but you cannot say that I am unwilling to change my mind, because my political opinions have shifted so fucking severely over the course of me streaming that you would not recognize me. Watch my old fucking videos where I said retarded fucking shit about socialism on my YouTube. I left them up so that later on in my life I can look at the character growth that I've had from being a literal fucking subhumanly unintelligent fucking socialist to who I am now. All right?
All in their mind groomers that are dangerous to your children. And what are you supposed to do? As a good upstanding Republican, protect your children using what's the other thing they're obsessed with? The Second Amendment, using your guns. You should protect your children using your guns. That's what Republicans are saying at all times. And yes, Marjorie Taylor Greene has literally, I could go on about this forever. Yes, I could go on about Marjorie Taylor Greene and the fact that she went on a popular news, one of the most popular news shows in the entire country, and talked about how she would have her husband beat up a trans person for the crime of being at the same summer camp as her daughter. Have you ever debated a fascist? I'm not saying this to be antagonistic. I'm legitimately wondering. Yes, I have debated a fascist. I debated Big Papa Fascist on trans rights, actually. You can go look it up.
He's not a literal
Dingo
fascist.
Mama, Big Papa Fascist. You'll find that debate. It's on my channel. That's not the only one either, right?
Many Jews died by suicide because life became unlivable. That was part of the plan, to get them to at least emigrate, to kill themselves before they started to come up with before they realized that solution wasn't going to be sufficient. You have to look. They're not going to say our goal is to kill trans people. You have to infer intent from their actions. And to be honest, they are being more than clear to the average person who's watching what their intent is.
With what happened with what happened in Germany, again, that's why the genocidal intent. And scholars will say this, you could say the build-up to the genocide was all the way from the 30s up until 41. But until 41, the proof of genocidal intent, you would say legally or to the definition, wasn't there. The orders came from 41 onwards. That's like the whole discussion. Yeah.
So you're saying Germany?
Okay, this is so stupid. He can't be this stupid. the Nazis were pushing, they were using stochastic attempts. They were promoting the Nazis were promoting from the highest levels of government anti-Semitic conspiracy theories and the idea that hidden among the populace were anti-German Jewish people. They were doing this all along. It wasn't just because they took full power in 1941. They were doing the same thing the GOP is doing now. They just weren't in power yet.
There's no. Oh my God, she literally has no fucking clue what she's talking about, does she? They didn't take power until 1941? The Nazis in Germany? World War II didn't start in 1941. Ah, fuck, dude. People listen to her and take her opinion seriously. I'm not a fucking historian, okay? But what was it? 1930 it was like the early or mid 30s when the Nazis took power, right? And then in 1938, or was it 1939, they invaded Poland and World War II officially. Yeah, they took power in 33. World War II started in 39. Has reached the conclusion that there was no intention to exterminate the Jews of Europe before 1941. Huh. Yeah, but it wasn't a world war until those Germans did their thing, you know?
Holy shit, man. This is so disappointing.
It is disappointing.
Sentiment exists in Germany for decades. Yes, and in the government as well, nuts. The intent, yeah, exactly. You're 100% right on this.
Was not guilty of genocide until 1941.
Of the crime of genocide, they would.
Yeah, they were exactly. Thank you. Jessica Metal says they were pushing for the Kristallnacht for months before it actually happened. The burning. Hold on.
The thing is, like, Kristallnacht, there were things like that happened in the United States, but nobody's saying that African Americans were being genocided in the United States. What we had what is it called? The Black Wall Street. I can't remember what city it happened in. Black Wall Street got firebombed by a bunch of, not by the government, but by a bunch of random fucking white folks that were really, really fucking upsetty spaghetti. Okay? Nobody's calling that a fucking genocide, because that right there isn't genocide. It's the intent to destroy, in whole or part, a national, ethnic, racial, or religious group.
Hold on a second. 1 second. I wanted to get this date. The first large. Okay, so just so you all know, the Nazi book burnings. The first of the Nazi book burnings happened in 1933.
What does that matter?
So in 1933, 7 years before what Lonerbox is saying here, the stochastic genocidal elements, burning Jewish and queer history,
thank you for the gifted sub,
was already happening.
Book burnings aren't genocide.
1933 was the first Nazi book burning. Jewish literature took precedence. The burning of Jewish literature took precedence over everything else. The German Student Union proclaimed a nationwide action against the un-German spirit, which was to climax a literary purge or cleansing by fire.
Stochastic genocide, a term no one's ever said before in their life.
Instructed to supply the press with releases and commissioned articles, to sponsor well-known Nazis to speak at public gatherings, and to negotiate for radio broadcast.
I'm skipping forward until she plays the video again.
Now, what the fuck, man?
No, they were building up to it.
Okay, so you're
it's like pretty not disputed. Yeah, it's not disputed.
Okay, all right. So
why is that? Why is that so?
I think we're done then. Because you're not going to be there saying the rights. Like, imagine in 1934 or 1935 in Germany, where the Nazis are obviously passing laws to make life impossible. They're making Jews unable to participate in normal life. And Lonerbox is saying, hey, it's not a genocide. I don't see the intent for there to be genocide here. I have to wait until they're carting people off to camps, and then I will call it a genocide. What the fuck is your point then? You cannot be trusted then to stand up for things that matter when they happen. You're going to be the person who says, oh, that was wrong later.
Oh, yeah, by the way, this is really funny. It's really funny that it's really disappointing and funny that Lonerbox has taken this position. So there was a film that we watched part of on my stream that was written by, once again, Magnus Hirschfeld, an amazing guy. It was a film called Different from the Others. It was a German melodrama that was produced during the Weimar Republic, and it was released in 1919.
Weimar?
Yeah, the release was in 1919, and it was a movie about a gay man being extorted because one of his neighbors saw him kissing his lover. So him and his lover were in a park and they kissed, and one of the neighbors extorted him for it, and he ends up dying at the end of the thing. It's like a really he kills himself because his career gets ruined because his neighbors extort him. This movie came out in 1919, and it came out in response, by the way, to the fact that homosexuality was made a criminal offense in Germany.
That was 1919. That was before the Nazis got power.
It was a provision to the German.
How can you take all of these examples before things like actually became genocide, or before the Nazis even came into power, not know when the Nazis came into fucking power in Germany, and then like position yourself as someone who likes to like debate and destroy Nazis? How can you not know a single fucking thing about the historical fucking Nazi party and fucking talk about them so goddamn much? Nazis to Demon Mama are just people that she doesn't like. She has no fucking clue. 1919! When was the Nazi party even like around? Was it around in 1919? I can't show the symbol right there, but between 1920, the fucking film came out before the party was even fucking founded.
Criminal code, by the way, that law happened in 1871, which criminalized homosexuality. And by the way, it was a part of the German criminal code until 1994. Until 1994.
Were they still Nazis in 94?
Do people need qualifications to debate you? No, you just have to be interesting. You have to be interesting and have an interesting topic. That's all. All right, let's continue.
What the fuck was that?
But that's not what we need.
Okay, first of all, when camps were opening, yeah, there was plenty of evidence to say that we're building up to a genocide, and the urgency was there. Like again, I just so you know, for my take on Germany,
camps?
I think the Allies should have intervened when the first camp opened before the annexation. So no,
Yeah,
actually, I'm very for intervening as quickly as possible when that happens. I think that every government in the Allied states were too slow. Okay, so no, I don't know why you think just because I'm contesting you on terminology means you think I'm less urgent about stopping the problem. I don't know why you think that.
Well, because you,
because you're shoehorning.
What?
Because you're shoehorning, right?
He's really defensive.
Because I'm not using the same terminology
Why is he so defensive?
What does that
Lonerbox,
mean?
Is Lonerbox usually this weird and defensive?
as you.
Well,
No,
And I feel like I've got pretty reasonable reasons for it.
your unwillingness to sort of
You're shoehorning me to say that the only reason he won't use the language I do is because he doesn't care as much as I do.
you don't. Well, I wouldn't say care. You're just denying the extent of the problem.
Well, it's just that you even said they are intending to kill them.
Maybe he's a little bit defensive because his fucking partner is trans, and you implying that he's an evil, hateful, anti-trans person because he doesn't believe in this incredibly fucking loose definition of genocide. Like what the United States did to the Native Americans, that was genocide. All right. I think that most people agree at this point that that was genocide. But was what we did to African Americans genocide? No, it was still bad. Everybody still talks about it. Something could be bad and still not be a genocide. There's more bad things in the world than genocide.
And
So,
I'm saying, well,
would you
where's
say
the evidence of
attempted genocide is going on? Would you accept that? There's an attempted genocide? And if you're willing
Not
to agree
yet.
to that, why not just say genocide?
No, I don't think what's happened. I don't think legislators are attempting a genocide. I don't think they're trying to kill
see,
trans people. I don't think
you
that's
don't
their
get
rationale.
okay. Yeah, see, that's the problem.
That's the problem. You don't agree with
Okay.
me.
If you can't even acknowledge that there's an attempted genocide, you're
insane.
you are just wrong.
You are insane, Deepin Mama. You are insane, poly people.
Just wrong. Like, there are states right now, currently, that are Alabama attempted to criminalize all trans healthcare, not just for minors, all. But don't say, oh my God, man, what the hell? Yeah, you're either living under a rock or you're being transphobic. Wow, damn it, nuts, why do you gotta be based so frequently? This was published This was published in the UK, where Lonerbox is. NHS. Most children who think they're transgender are just going through a phase. This was a statement from the NHS. What the? Oh, fuck you, man. Fuck this shit. Can I get the full thing? I want to see who quoted that. I want to see what the full quote is. Who said that? Doctors told not to encourage young people to change their names and pronouns. That's an internal memo. That's so fucked up. What the fuck?
Don't get it. Okay, how about this? Maybe they're not. Their purpose is not to kill trans people. It would just be a happy outcome.
I don't know, because I mean, imagine when I listen to the way conservatives speak, the way I hear conservatives speak is they will talk about, is like they think, because they believe the whole like social contagion bullshit, right? They believe that people become trans because of some like too much libercucks education or whatever. That's what they think. So I think they would say that.
By the way, quick citation, just so people understand I'm not just making shit up. Here you go. This is from the Human Rights Campaign, an update on anti-trans legislation in Alabama. SB 184. This law would make it a felony, punishable by up to 10 years in prison, to provide gender-affirming care. At all. To provide any. Arkansas passed the only other gender-affirming care ban into law last year, and it was immediately...
There's almost no way that this shit is constitutional, though.
...challenged. Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Arkansas passed that law. Here you go. You can read this whole article, Demon Speaker. Like I said, fucking Human Rights Campaign has it about it. Here you go. SB 184 also forces educators to out children to their parents.
And this is genocide.
This law bans K-12 students from using bathrooms in school facilities consistent with their gender identity. Additionally, the law would ban conversations about sexual orientation and gender identity in classrooms K-5, similar to the Don't Say Gay or Trans bill. Let's continue. Let's continue going through this and showing how wrong Lonerbox actually is right now.
They're worried about kids getting exposed to social contagion, and then because that social contagion makes them trans, that increases their suicide rate. And they think they would say that they think that trans identity is what's killing kids, and they're very wrong about that. But that's very different from them thinking, I want these people to die, right?
Let me remind you that they don't just call us. They don't just say it's a social contagion. They call us groomers. They believe that we expand our numbers by grooming kids, by being predators. Do you think that they give a fuck whether we die if they believe that we are pedophiles and predators? Do you think that they would say no, those pedophiles and predators and groomers, they should live? Or does that sound to you like somebody that they are characterizing in a way so as to dehumanize us and thereby justify our deaths?
Yeah, hey, what do you do?
You're assuming so much intent.
Huh? You know why they use that language? What do you do to a contagion? Do you cleanse or purge a contagion? Huh.
Between groomers and kids there, though, but I thought the legislation was blocking healthcare for kids. So they're not calling the kids groomers. They think they're
what? Yes.
Because the entire debate is about semantics.
Look, maybe their goal is to protect kids.
By the way,
I'm sure there's plenty of...
Persifer says, my question is, when does repression of a group become genocide of that group? Jews, LGBTQ people, etc. have been repressed for a long time. Does that count as an ongoing genocide?
Are black people being genocided in the United States? Have they not been like ultra fucking persecuted? I don't like give an answer.
Yes. I think that to this day we still have an ongoing genocide of Native peoples in America. Yes. I think people want genocides to be tiny, contained things and not acknowledge the fact that they are
happening every single day, everywhere, all the time.
Overcome them. The AIDS, exactly. Thank you, Intentions Nasty. The AIDS crisis is a very clear sign of this. The AIDS crisis, which for no reason at all, for not even for no reason, literally, information that it was known that it was not a disease that targeted gay people. It was known how to prevent it, and that information was held back by the government. Oh my God, it is so bad. Yeah. Anyway, let's continue.
What does that have to do?
Hold on.
I'm getting so fucking frustrated.
Why would you give... Okay, so like, if you believe that they believe that we're groomers and predators toward kids, why would you find it hard to accept that they want us to die? Or that they would be perfectly fine if they thought we would die?
Yeah, because if they think you're guilty of like a crime of grooming, does that mean everyone who's pro-death penalty is like genocidal?
Okay, you are being you're being far too obtuse. Of course not. Pro-death penalty is different from being pro-death penalty for a group of people. They're they are pro-death penalty for trans adults, we'll say, which is genocide.
And again, it's not genocide until I don't think you would say.
Okay, they haven't killed enough of us yet.
To trans people, right?
What? Say that again?
So just out of interest, so do you think? So are you telling me within the next 5-10 years we're going to see any attempt at legislation to give the death penalty to trans adults?
They don't have.
You don't have to do that. Obvious. In 10 years, who fucking knows? It's certainly possible.
Hold on, go back.
But they don't.
Pro death penalty is different from being pro death penalty for a group of people. They're pro. They are pro death penalty for trans adults, we'll say, which is genocide.
And again, it's not genocide until I don't think you would say.
Okay, they haven't killed off enough of us yet.
To trans people, right?
What? Say that
Okay,
again?
so just out of interest, so do you think? So are you telling me within the next 5-10 years we're going to see any attempt at legislation to give the death penalty to trans adults?
They don't have.
You don't have to do that. Obviously, in 10 years, who fucking knows? It's certainly possible. But they don't have to do that. That's not the way politics is done now. Donald Trump.
They don't have to do that. They don't have to do. They don't have to actually do anything for it to be a genocide. We just have to like assume their intentions behind all of their actions, and we can call it a genocide. Holy shit.
Will just stand on the platform and say, these groomers, they're coming for your children. They're going to get you. You better get your guns and go take care of them. And then, provided that the ferocity of this campaign continues, which, by the way, let's just have a quick reality check, okay? Because I did this earlier before I even knew we were gonna I had no plans to review this. Earlier today, I wanted to use this this real quick. Let me just show you, okay, real quick. All right. Take a look at this, okay? Matt Walsh, just searching Matt Walsh on YouTube, 1.83 million subscribers. Here's a video in which stand up for your kids because they are under attack. Okay, here's all these. Here's the first non-him videos are him giving speeches about trans people. Our successful rally sends leftist goblins into fits of a satanic hysteria. And if you look at the picture, the rally was called the Rally to End Child Mutilation.
Hope they included circumcision in there, but
Like,
they didn't.
Dude, what do you like? Let's just a reality check here. The most popular right-wing figures are literally trying to mobilize their base on ending child mutilation. Your children are being attacked. You need to act now. Do you guys remember when we just the other day watched that Tucker Carlson segment where he's screaming about how about the fake big titty teacher and how he was like, you need American patriots need to stand up because they're coming for your children. They're coming for your children. They're coming for your children. Do you remember that? We just watched this the other day. Just needed a reality check moment because I think Lonerbox is talking straight out of his ass.
Because they will make life unlivable. At some point, if things keep going, sure, they will cart us off. Like that will happen. It won't just be trans people. It'll be just like any other sort of fascist movement if it gets to that point. But it will be step by step, just like these things always happen. And you will be, what I fear is people like you will be, each step that's taken, you will be able to distinguish in your mind why this step is not the same as, the other things that are, or that you think are specifically genocidal. And that kind of thing makes me nervous.
Why don't you just ask him what would be his line? At what point would you call it a genocide? Why doesn't she just ask that? Because that seems like a great way to cut through the bullshit, doesn't it? If she's saying that he'll never accept that it's a genocide, then probably at some point you should ask at what point it is. Yeah?
Just when I hear people like you just, sort of say, well, this is not the same. The worst hasn't happened yet, so therefore I'm not going to, call what's going on.
Okay, so usually when this topic comes up, and I operate in the UK, so usually when this topic comes up, I see there's anti-trans legislation. In America, where I live in the UK, the anti-trans legislation is they basically have used a loophole to make puberty blockers completely inaccessible for.
I want to point this out, okay?
Oh my God, please just let the fucking video play.
Boy, oh boy, is this relevant. The primary role of liberalism over the next 30 years will be to obstruct the left from preventing the right from taking power, and then blaming us when the right takes power. Is that not, exactly what we're watching in this conversation? The primary role of over, well, so you shouldn't do, it's pathetic.
If
pathetic look.
People who need it, yeah. It's pretty fucked. And I think what I'll usually say is I'll be like, this is really urgent. I think if anyone wants to engage in activism, if that's their thing, because there's lots of people who come to me I want to get involved, I'll probably say well, Stonewall, really good organization to volunteer for, Mermaids, all these organizations want volunteers. A lot of them are involved in fighting the legislation, going to, I don't know how it works over there, but the way it comes is with councils, you can lobby and you can write letters, you can visit your local MP, you can talk about it in all these different ways. At what point, but I guess if it's a genocide, that action is insufficient then, is it? What should I do? What more should I do?
You should at least be willing to call it.
Wait, hold on. This is a weird direction. He's being super defensive here. What more should I do? Well, call it a genocide. Call it what it is, dude. Don't fucking split
agree
hairs
with
when
me.
trans people are
Agree
telling
with me,
you
or
that
you're
this is an
being
attempted
defensive.
genocide,
Agree with
and
me,
there
or
are
you're being
ongoing
defensive. Agree with
aspects
me,
of
or you're being
genocide.
defensive.
No one's asking you to do anything else, although I would certainly appreciate it if cis people would, push back a little harder. Just a little bit harder against transphobia. You know, just a little harder. You know, a little bit of rip and tear.
On the one side will say that a slippery slope doesn't exist, only to then say that a slippery slope exists. I mean, you can point that just the other way as well. All right, like whenever they say like there's no like harm, like we're only helping people when we make it to where they can't fucking transition, and that's obviously not fucking true because trans people have a higher quality of life after transitioning, right? Like they say that there's no slippery slope on denying healthcare. Why is like they also accept no compromise on this because there is a slippery slope. I'll say it. There is a slippery slope with how far we can go with trans affirming healthcare, right? Only a lunatic would say that there is no slippery slope. You can permanently hurt someone, permanently like change their body in a way that they might not want to be in a couple of years, right? Which is why we should have safeguards in place. We should have safeguards in place. We should want the best for all people, right? But you can't say that you want the best for all people while denying trans people legitimate fucking healthcare. Because you don't want what's best for all people. You want what's best for people that you like kind of think are like normal people. And then after that, like, okay, well then like I guess we can try and throw these other people a fucking bone, I guess.
A genocide.
That's it, at least. If I don't call it a genocide, what? I'm insufficient?
Well, you are not accepting the truth of what's going on.
Hey, everybody, have you considered writing a letter to oppose the law that will ban you from getting health care? Have you considered writing...
Look.
Okay. But you're saying you were going by arbitrary definitions, though, because I don't think you were having a go at me for using the legal definition earlier.
Look. Do you just not accept that they're trying to, or that they would be happy if trans people either went back into the closet or died? Do you take issue with that characterization of the?
I think there's some.
No, you can protect people from choices. Yeah, you absolutely can. You can protect them by adding punishments, right? You can say like we're protecting people from drunk driving by making it socially stigmatized and imposing harsh laws on people who drive under the influence, right? That's protecting both that person and society as a whole. Right? Now, you're not going to be able to 100% keep people from doing it, right? You're never going to be 100% capable. As long as they are informed, they should have the right to make them. They do have the right to make them. But children don't have that right. That's the entire fucking argument. Children don't have the ability to give informed consent. This is why pedophilia is bad. Because they don't have the ability to consent. You cannot like convince a child. You can't like tell a child like their options medically and then have them give informed consent because they can't give it. They are too young. Yeah, fuck them kids.
So there's some legislators who I think are definitely happier with the closet thing, but not because they're trying to kill trans people. It's because they think it's like a mental disorder, right? That's
trying to force trans people out of the public eye. You do that because you are disgusted by them. You don't believe they should be seen in the public eye. Forcing trans people into the closet is trying to kill them. It's so that they'll go away and die where you don't have to see them. It's so that they'll languish where you don't have to see it. It's the same thing as telling homeless people, being like, ooh, homeless people are so unsightly. Don't you wish we could just get rid of them? Like, what do you mean by get rid of them? What do you think the goal of putting somebody in the closet is? What do you think the goal
I gotta
of
skip
passing
past. I just want to hear what
laws?
Lonerbox says.
issues is
Fuck.
that's their rationale.
Good
And
night,
the reason
Ashmore.
I get pedantic about that difference is because the way you approach both of those issues is very different. One of them, I think that the former one, because they...
Oh no, is he about to do the rose wrist thing? Is he about to do the rose wrist thing? Where he goes, if I admit that it's a genocide, then I have the responsibility to act more fiercely. To rip and tear. And I don't want to think that I'm at the point in history where I should be considering ripping and tearing. Oh man.
are
Dude.
stupid and uninformed and have bad research. Well, the way you respond to that is the way I think I advocate for, is people getting involved in pressure groups, in political, in charities, in lobbying, and going to meetings and lobbying MPs, protesting, civil, like, yeah, things that you can do within a liberal democracy, like things that are just like actionable. If you think the legislators do this because they want to kill the trans people, then the way you respond to that is, well, what would you do? What would you do if the Nazis took power? You wouldn't oppose like Jewish militias trying to...
What would you do if the Nazis took power? What would you do if your country was rapidly descending into fascism in the midst of absolutely horrendous economic fallout because of a plague, and the fascists were getting louder and were targeting trans people and were advocating for laws that would kill trans people and lots of other people, including Jewish people? Wow, anti-Semitism is back on the rise too. What would you do? What would you do? There you go, rip and tear. That's what you do. By any vote necessary.
Assassinate Nazi politicians, right? So
You said it.
I don't
not
know,
me.
like, if you're calling it genocide, then why are you not trying to get legislators killed in self-defense?
Well, I'm not. I would never talk about that.
Damn, Lonerbox CIA arc?
Oh my fucking god. Twitter right now. I can't escape. I can't escape. No, tweet. I can call someone a motherfucker on Twitter. That's what Twitter's for, calling people motherfuckers. Especially when they're being motherfuckers.
Is he a Fed?
I think that's.
You wouldn't talk about it, but
well, I wouldn't do any. I would personally not do anything like that. Like that's
yeah,
not
you just
something
want other people to fuck up their own lives and go to jail and just like ruin everything just because, and actually probably fuck the movement even more. But that's the logic.
Whoa! Whoa! What?
Oh wait, hold on. What did he say? Sorry, I got sent a.
Might come after you. That's a big concern.
This is a clip that Zonia sent
Beckett
me.
and Sonya. Like Beckett, like you're fourth from the throne, right? I think number 5 might come after you. That's a big concern. And
Yeah,
Zonya,
it
I mean, like I'm a big Vosh
crap.
fan, so I'm assuming that the genocide is right around the corner, and you're going to be the first to go. So it could be either of them, right? That coalition is pretty anti anyone who makes spicy tier lists, right?
That's pretty rational, yeah. If you're informed by the Vosh extended universe, yeah, it makes sense that you would reason out that I would probably be one of the first to go. Yeah, the anti-trans, anti-LGBT genocide is absolutely waiting to as a tide to overtake us. But well, actually, no, because I'm a pick-me, right? So I'm safe until
make it through.
all the other trans people have to die first. Then I die.
Yeah, we'll keep you.
That's why I'm a pick.
Oh my god.
I love Zonia. She is so funny. All right.
My man, what?
Logical conclusion, right?
Say it again.
Jewish people. Wow, anti-Semitism is back on the rise too. What would you do? What would you do? There you go, rip and tear. That's what you do.
What the fuck?
By any vote necessary.
Assassinate Nazi politicians, right? So
You said it.
I don't
not
know,
me.
like, if you're calling it genocide, then why are you not trying to get legislators killed in self-defense?
Well, I'm not. I would never talk about that.
Damn, Lonerbox CIA arc? Is he a Fed?
I think that's.
You wouldn't talk about it, but
How is he a Fed? He's fucking British. He's British. He has the unfortunate. He has the unfortunate status as being a fucking Brit bonger. Why the fuck would you say that? A Fed. That's like a pretty logical conclusion, because you're saying, what would you say to Jews in 1930s Germany as they ramped up the steps to genocide? Well, if you're saying that they should have assassinated Nazi politicians in the ramp up to your genocide, why would you not be advocating for that? If you truly think that this is happening, but you don't truly think that this is happening, you think that really bad things are happening to trans people. That's what you think. And that's true. Bad things are happening to trans people. But if you're not willing to extend the exact same fucking statements about the Jews in Nazi Germany to yourself, are you really being genocided? Why are you not saying that, oh yeah, trans people should be arming themselves and going out and killing politicians and killing conservatives? Because that is exactly what you're saying people ought to be doing.
Well, I wouldn't do any. I would personally not do anything like that. Like that's
Yeah,
not
you just
something
want
I
other people to fuck up their own lives and go to jail and just like ruin everything just because, and actually probably fuck the movement even more. But that's the
Whoa! Whoa! What?
What?
My man, what?
logical conclusion, right?
Damn.
I mean, it is. How is that not?
He's legit saying he can't acknowledge an ongoing genocide because if he did, he would have to be okay with trans people fighting back. Yeah, and then he's going above and beyond to mock.
Wait. So do you think that they should be going out and killing fucking feds or not? Is it mocking them? If it's something that they should be doing?
To mock her. Even for something she didn't even say, for something he said. Bro, this is pathetic, man.
God, I fucking hate these people. They are legitimately the worst.
Yes, I am greatly.
They are literally the worst fucking thing that could have happened to trans people. They are like Demon Mama and Polly, literally the worst fucking like advocates for that group. There is no worse fate for trans people than having these people be their advocates. Holy fucking shit. Can you fucking imagine being a normie fucking trans person and then hearing this shit while you're just like, oh man, I just wish I could afford HRT. What fucking losers. It actually makes me fucking mad that there are people out there who have a fucking following, who are going around and like making prescriptions about the world, telling people what like the truth is. And they're saying shit like this, actually making life more difficult for your average trans person. You want to look at the reasons why life is becoming unlivable for trans people? It's because people like this are out there being the advocates that are like going out and saying this is what trans people believe, when most trans people do not believe this shit. I'm 900% sure, 1000% sure that if I asked any of my trans friends that are normies, that are not like terminally online, fucking loser leftists like this, hey, do you think that there's a trans genocide going on right now? Zero of them would fucking say this shit.
Displeased. This is a bad show.
If someone has genocidal intent and is trying to action it gradually, they are fair game, right?
So I think you're being unfair. You're painting me as somebody who is now trying to do the thing. You're saying now
what the fuck?
I'm trying to get, because I am calling something what it is, you're now saying that I'm trying to get people killed in the name of trans people. That's fucking ridiculous, my guy. I am just trying to get you.
Really?
To use a word that accepts the very risk to people like me that is out there right now. There's legislation being proposed, there's legislation being passed, there are children being taken away from their parents in the state of Texas because they are treating their...
Didn't the bill that takes trans children away from their parents get shot down in Texas? Can someone confirm that for me?
Kids for who they are. And you're saying if I call it a genocide, I am therefore required to what, now go out and kill people? That are trying to kill me? Like I don't understand. Oh my God, if that's your standard, then I guess there will never be a genocide because, you know, I'm always going to be too afraid to fight back against, you know, the powers that be that are trying to get me. I would, yes. What if somebody like me would rather run and hide, you know, in a fucking attic somewhere? Does that make it not a genocide? Because other people are going to fight for me instead.
So where do we? So I assume you're saying then. So you don't want to be pigeonholed into
I can't run it for too long because it'll hit me.
I'm just, I asked you a question.
No,
you're saying no.
That's crazy, dude.
You asked me a question. That's fine. You said no. Okay. Personally, I don't know. Jewish militias attacking like Nazi politicians. I wouldn't have opposed that. But anyway, because that was like, you know, genocide. As for what's happening today, then where do we disagree?
Okay, I'm gonna take just a second here. What Lonerbox just did here was A, extremely dirty, and B, was fucking lame, my man. That was a fucking lame-ass, weak-ass play. Being like, hey, so if it's a genocide, don't you think that it would you oppose Jewish militias? It's literally Fed posting. What he's trying to do is he's trying to get her to say something that could get her stream taken down, which she never even said in the first place. All that she's been trying to do is say you should take this seriously. And then he goes, well, I would support the Jewish militias because a real genocide was going on. But you're a fraud because you think a real genocide is going on and you don't support whatever bullshit he just made up. That was like one of the dirtiest approaches I've seen. That's very much
what do you mean it's dirty? It's the logical conclusion of her own fucking statements.
Of another streamer who engages in bullshit like this against trans people. Yes, it's literally what
bullshit against trans people, like disagreeing with them.
Any surprise that both Rose Wrist and Lonerbox borrowed directly from the playbook of fucking Stinky Steve.
Then, if we're talking about, I guess you'd imagine the way to oppose this would be lobby legislators, turn up to town hall meetings, I guess, in America, help with.
Oh, fuck. I just thought of like the worst fucking tweet. I would actually get canceled. Oh, but I want to put it out so much. What is the name of that that trans woman that was like a super like all the transphobes bring her up? She like demanded that people give her a bikini wax in Canada or some shit like that, and who I can't remember her fucking name, but like she like got put. I think, yeah, Yaniv. Oh fuck. I don't even know if I should say it on stream. Never mind. Would it be bad if I would it be bad if I said Demon Mama and Poly people are the worst? Or Demon Mama and Poly people are the being advocates for the trans community, or being trans advocates are the worst thing to happen to the trans community since Jessica Yaniv? That would probably be too nuclear.
Do everything you can within the law, as many people did within the law during previous genocidal
Thank you
events,
so much
right?
for the
Maybe
sub.
it won't be enough, but it's better than arguing with a pedantic
I am
tone
the greatest.
about whether or not a genocide is going on or not. Because
Well, you're the one that's telling
there
me
is
that
one
the
going on,
problem
dude.
with me is the problem, but you're saying the problem with me is that I'm not calling it a genocide. Then it goes both ways. If the only bar I'm not crossing is calling it a genocide,
well, I don't know.
What?
To
I'm
be
just not
fair,
using your level of like your tone or what?
To be fair, I don't know much about your position on trans people, right? I saw your last video, even when I had critiques about it, but you know, I didn't come away with the feeling like you didn't recognize the threat that exists to trans people until well, I guess this very moment. And now it, you know, like your sort of over reliance on I'm not so sure, like the need for people to start dying before you're willing to call something or visibly dying in a way that you would recognize, as opposed to just dying invisibly. That's going on right now, a way that's going on right now, until you're willing to acknowledge that there's a genocide going on, or an intended.
Excellent question. Killjoy40k says, how do you stop genocide when the law is on the side of genocide? Lonerbox is acting like killing Jews was illegal in Germany, and the Germans just didn't do enough to stop them.
Super
At the
fucking
end of
true,
this segment,
Testicle Johnson.
I will have an interesting quote to read you. We're going to finish listening to this, and then I'm going to read you all a banger quote, okay? All right? Actually, you know what? Yeah, we'll wait. I'll read it at the end, okay? Trust me.
Genocide, at least.
Demon Mama is not harmless, because I never, ever, ever saw the argument for trans self-ID or gender self-ID until Demon Mama and Dos started popularizing it. And then it fucking spread like a cancer around the fucking internet.
Yeah, because I can tell you very clearly why I have a problem, and it's because the way you respond to these things are different. If a state is committing genocide, say for example, this is what justifies countries invading other countries. This is what justifies countries bombing other countries. This is the justification that was given in Libya. They said that Gaddafi he had genocidal intent. He announced that he was going to genocide his own people, and then
Yeah, what are you? Are you the fucking Queen of England, my man? Are you the fucking President of England? Why do you give a shit what justifications a nation needs to invade another nation? That's not what we're fucking talking about. You're a person talking to a trans person about whether or not there is genocidal action going on towards the group of the person you're talking
What the ACL, link that to me, because I've never seen gender self-ID in the way that they talk about
because all of this law shit is getting on my nerves.
Mentioned
okay?
anywhere else.
Are you ready? Hold on. I'm going to read this. Hold on. I need to make this. Here you go. This is going to be for all of you. I'm going to re-add the red, okay? Here we go. Hold on. Ready?
Fuck off. I don't care about this.
That's how they name anyone who is thinking.
Country in the Human Rights Council, UN, NATO went in there and bombed the fuck out of the country. But the reason they did that, and the reason no country in the Human Rights Council voted against it, was because it was like genocide. Right?
So, okay.
So when it
pathologic becomes leftist theory, it is leftist theory, okay? It is. I'm not kidding you. It's so loaded with leftist ideas, it's unbelievable. Anyway, let's continue.
Domestically, the difference is that
Let's say
I'm
there's
more
okay.
radical than you now.
Right,
I think if there's a genocide happening, you should fucking video game people who are doing the genocide.
Hold on. Let's say that there was a genocide of trans people going on. Let's say there was actually a genocide of trans people going on. What would you say then? Should a foreign government bomb the United States to try to stop the genocide? And if so, how would you do that?
Okay, let's say. Well, people said take up arms, right? Trans people take up
arms. If you can link it to me, Manic Pixie, that'd be awesome.
Yourself to prepare for the worst, especially in the United States. So when it comes to say there's a genocide,
how is that going to say
if there are state agents coming to people's doors to force them into conversion therapy or whatever else, then defend video game yourself with defense. Yeah, defend that. Yeah.
Okay, so you're all right. Well, then I guess it doesn't matter because at that point it's not going to. The fact you would be only willing to acknowledge that it's a genocide in that case, where it would be obvious what the only action to do is, it'd be obvious then the only thing you could do is defend yourself by force, then I guess that's fine, but it's way too late, which is why,
what do you mean it's too late?
We're already heading toward that position where that is a very possible, thing that could happen. It's already happening in ways that you would say is a step, removed from that, but like what's going on is tantamount to the state elimination of the lives of
85 Derek with the $5. It sounds like Lonerbox is in denial because he's scared of the implications. He would be morally obligated to give up his comfortable life and take action or accept that he's a
Thank
coward.
you, Manic Pixie.
True. Let's continue. Thank you, 85 Derek.
Group of a cognizable group of people, right?
Yeah, but you're telling me the stage where it's necessary to take up arms, we're not there yet, right? You are telling me that.
I would say.
No,
so
by the way,
way
I'll be clear. I don't really care if either of these do. We are in the position when it's time for trans people to take up arms. Yes, trans people have the Second Amendment right. Because we live in goddamn America, trans people have the right to arm themselves to the teeth, and they motherfucking should. Wouldn't it be cool if I...
Hey guys, again, the take that this idea that giving trans women fucking RPDs, fucking MP5s to walk around with in the United States is going to save trans people is fucking mental illness. All right? It is neurodivergence at its peak. It is fucking crazy to assume that simply by owning guns, trans people are going to get their fucking health care.
I had a bunch of gun content planned for the near future. Let's continue.
This because I'm a trans person, not a fucking debate, bro. I would say that if I don't think about this in that way, I think about how I'm going to live. I think about where I would run to because I see this happening. That's what I think. I don't be like, oh, okay, so the genocide's happening. I'm going to take up arms so they can kill me faster. No, I'm afraid, my guy.
Yeah, I think that's. I don't disagree.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it shouldn't be. Like,
bruh,
I've read some of these laws. They're pretty fucking awful.
Liberals are so stupid. Liberals are so stuck in the debate, in like the stupidest form of the debate mindset that they can't even listen to when a trans person is literally being like, I am scared for my life because of the state of affairs in our country. And they're like, yeah, well, it doesn't meet the definition, the UN's most narrow definition of genocide. So what are you worrying about? It's all in your head. What are you, crazy?
Yeah. Again, the only problem is that I'm not using the same word that you are.
Yeah, I guess so.
We agree when it comes to what people should do, right? And we agree that
Nuts says they literally want me dead. I'm afraid for my life. And then the liberal continues to talk about how the weather is. Jesus Christ.
Needs to stop.
Okay. Yeah. I mean.
Okay, let me look at this really quick. Oh fuck! This is the actual thing. Okay, where's paragraph 5? Oh man, I might not know how to read legal documents. Oh fuck, I don't even know how to even find what page it's on. Yeah, no, I understand. I understand. I'll have to look into it.
Bruh.
I don't think it is unreasonable for me to come to the conclusion that well, that at least the state of Texas, for example, hopefully the genocidal intent won't spread to the entire country, but it could, depending on what happens in national policy in the
I think it already
Supreme
has.
Court. I guess I'm just I'm just surprised to hear the sort of, instead of like.
Oh yeah, by the way, I didn't even think of this earlier, but have you guys seen the way that conservatives talk about Rachel Levine? Rachel Levine, the health secretary, who's trans. Conservatives literally talk about her as though she's actively grooming kids. Like they're trying to get her assassinated. Like no ifs, ands, or buts about it. If you listen to the way conservatives talk right now, popular conservative pundits, if you listen to the way they talk about Rachel Levine, an innocent person, they are literally constantly saying she's after your children. They're literally trying to get her killed. It's unbelievable. That's just yet another thing on the giant pile.
Realizing that I have like a very real fear here.
It's gonna, by the way, guys, it's gonna be really funny to come back to this stream a year from now when I do my next I Was Right Again stream.
You've never been right in your life, Demon
Mama.
Mama.
This is a talk I had with my parents, and I got called a schizo T-slur for being worried. Jesus Christ.
To sort of be picky about my use of the term. It's
based
Well,
parents.
you can have a very real fear without using genocide. Right? There are lots of things that happen in the world that are horrible that aren't genocide.
Yeah.
True,
Yeah,
Uncle
like,
Gumball,
we know
fair.
this. And also, fuck, just to come back, I had one note. Where the hell is it?
I mean, the idea.
Sorry.
Even though I've made a good case for why there's an ongoing genocide, and there's absolutely, verifiably, 100% unequivocally, at the very least, even if you ignore all of the ongoing laws, that there is absolutely an attempt at genocide in the United States. Oh, well, you know, just don't use the terminology. Stop being so sensitive.
Your chat's triggering the fuck out of me. They're so stupid. Holy shit. Sorry, not you. Okay.
Wait, did you just insult my chat?
One or two of them.
You're out of here.
Stop it, dude. Okay, stop it. Like.
Oh, what a loser.
Oh my fucking god.
Gale, I'll answer that in just 1 second.
That's so
okay?
fucking lame. Oh man.
Answer that in just 1 second.
How
Gale. I'm gonna
dare
finish
you
this video
insult
and-
her chat?
Okay,
Fuck
I'm just gonna
off.
speak on their behalf. You're completely missing the point. Like, if this is not if this is not a genocide, then or
I don't know what one is.
Is this not is this not an attempted genocide at least? Will you give me that?
No, I don't think it's an
all right.
attempted, because again, you talk about attempted, it's like, I don't think they're doing it because they're trying to kill people.
Okay, all right, okay. That's the problem. That for some reason you are unwilling to accept that this is.
Gale, Polypeople is arguing that yes, there is the argument that Polypeople has put forward is that there is a ongoing genocide against trans people, and has just said that okay, I still disagree with you, but can you at least admit that there's an attempted genocide? And Lonerbox said no, which is verifiably false. And I think
you haven't verified anything.
I am super disappointed with Lonerbox's performance in this debate. I think it's embarrassingly bad. But yeah, Polypeople is correct.
I bet you would.
Here, Polypeople has been correct this entire time, and Lonerbox's performance in this was embarrassing.
This is an attempt to, kill trans people, or it's at the very least a happy consequence.
Proposed interveners deny the implied allegation that those who self-ID as transgender, non-binary, or intersex are cisgender men. The remaining allegations of paragraph 16 consist of legal arguments and conclusions to which no response is required. Fuck, I wish I could read what they said in paragraph 16, whatever they're responding to. This could be read two different ways, but yeah, they might be saying, like, as long as you're identifying that way, then you are that. But, yeah. I just didn't know if I was saying interveners correctly. Yeah, I can understand why you read it that way. I don't know if that is exactly what they were trying to say, but I would need additional context, but like it's very possible.
Of their making life.
Yeah, Gale, you should, because there's a lot of issues with what Lonerbox brought up here that are just this entire time I've been debunking shit that he's been saying. It's extremely easy. The slightest bit, like all I have to do is search Matt Walsh or Steven Crowder or Tucker Carlson, any of the most popular right-wing figures, any of the most popular right-wing politicians are currently screaming about groomers. And when they say groomers, they mean trans people. That's what they're trying to say. That's their new thing. They're rebranding LGBT people, but specifically trans people as groomers. I don't know, like this is just ridiculous. I'm severely disappointed.
I mean,
you've said this so many times, but you haven't actually laid out the real case.
Medical intervention.
Yeah, I mean, I've got plenty of trans friends and people in my community who tell me about that stuff. I get very long emails and all that. So as much as I can know, I try to. Yeah.
All right.
Again, that's not to do with
Friends, you have
thinking the
trans
legislators
friends? I
have
have a trans
genocidal intent.
friend.
Right? That has nothing to do with that.
Okay, on one, I fucking hate this shit so fucking much. It's like, on one hand, if you say you have like a trans friend or a black friend, or you have plenty of trans friends or black friends, then they're going to say, oh, I have a trans friend, you have a trans friend. But then on the other side of that, they're like, have you even ever talked to a black person in your entire life? Well, do you want me to talk to black people or no? Is talking to people who have that lived experience not fucking enough? What is it? What is the correct? Like, if you're like, if me as a straight white male can neither interact with these people because like simply having a black friend isn't enough for me to like hear what their experiences are. And also, if I don't talk to these people, then I don't get to hear what the experience is. Then like I'm stuck in this Schrodinger's box of like who I can trust for information. Ultimately, when people do this shit, like I feel like it used to be more valid, right? I feel like it used to be more valid, but at this point, like it's a Schrodinger's fucking like experiential fucking evidence thing. Like, am I allowed to fucking talk to black people about their experiences or not? Or is it only black people that agree with you? Is it only trans people that agree with you? That shit's annoying as fuck. Because, like, I do have many black friends. I do have many trans friends. And I can pull from them some information about their lived experience. Now, this lived experience that they have is not enough for me to have a whole, like a holistic view on any given subject. But it is something that I can, like, pull from. For you to imply that having a black friend isn't enough, or talking to a black person isn't enough, but then also saying that like, oh, well, you only say this because you haven't ever talked to a real trans person before, implies that like, those people aren't valid minorities because they don't agree with you. It's so fucked up. It's like actually fucking disgusting to me. Like there's no way to actually like respond to the statement like, do you even have any like, do you ever interact with trans people in real life? If you say, yeah, I have a lot of friends that are trans, they're going, oh, I have a trans friend. Like, yeah, fucking I have to stop myself. I got so used to saying it in real life, Robloxing people. One second.
So you're just willing to say that because you cannot prove what's in their mind and their heart, that you'll just give them the benefit of the doubt, that they really just hope trans people live happy lives?
No, it's not about benefit of the doubt. Like, I fucking hate these people. I just think a good way to combat them, or at least people who vote for them, is to
understand
get so
them,
upset when
actually.
trans people call them out because they can't high road them. Notice how Lonerbox immediately fell back on rhetoric that he would generally reserve for violent Nazis? Yeah. Yeah. I think liberals get upset because liberals are legal cucks, okay? Liberals at their heart are Chuck from Better Call Saul. They are all about technicality, and they are never about spirit. They don't care about what the law is supposed to do. They only care about the...
Fuck, these people only hate... These people only care about data when it aligns with them, and then it's all about spirit and what what your intuition is. Y'all remember when like people dunked on Ben Shapiro for like all of his like anti-empirical claims that he made all the time, despite saying facts don't care about your feelings? And then people would bring out all these stats and figures and all of that shit to prove that he was wrong. And then what happened to that? Now we are going to just go with the same fucking thing, that like facts don't matter and feelings is all that matters? Yeah, data as a rhetorical weapon only. Wow, holy shit, brave take, M9300. Super brave take. Too bad. That's not what we're talking about. Come back in 5 minutes when you're ready to actually interact with us. Or come back tomorrow and jump in VC. One of the two. Do words have meaning? Like, that's what I'm fucking wondering, bro. Demon Mama never really cared about facts. I think that Demon Mama legitimately thinks that every single one of her talking points are facts because she intuits them. It's not that they don't think that they're facts. It's that they're facts as long as they agree with them.
Letter of the law, and they can lie, cheat, and steal as much as they want as long as they technically have the right of law. That is a fundamental part of liberalism, is the obsession with legal right. I shot you in the face, but it's okay because it says on the law books that I can shoot you if you're on my property, and my property includes the entire forest that you used to live in. I bought it, and you're trespassing. It's fucking stupid. It's West Wing ass bullshit. It's embarrassing.
West Wing
and that's why
bullshit.
liberals get so mad in conversations like this, because in conversations about what you do in the face.
Yeah, in conversations where someone isn't able to actually verify anything that they're fucking saying whatsoever, or like even deal with the same fucking language where we're all using shared definitions for the same words, hopefully. And then you guys come around and decide to completely rework the entire fucking language to fit your fucking ideology. Yeah, it's almost like that is a really fucking frustrating conversation to have. Dumb fuck.
Of overwhelming oppression in the face of genocide is never as clean as they want. They don't like the idea that their system gives birth to the power that fascists use to kill. That liberalism is the left wing of fascism.
Is to, at least to some degree, find out what made them think that way. And what I see with a lot of people who, especially the problem, like it's maybe different in the UK, but what happens in the UK is a lot of otherwise progressive people will get roped into transphobia because basically just because of fear mongering. They'll be fear mongered into thinking that kids are, oh, maybe it's okay for adults, but kids, I don't know, too soon, they can't make up their own minds. And I'm like, okay, you don't sound like someone who's trying to kill trans people, right? Even though.
Yes, that is the overwhelming opinion in the United States too.
I was honestly surprised too. I never took him for a
transphobe,
genocide denying type, or the genocide downplaying, which is a form of genocide denial. I never took him for that type. Unfortunately,
it's genocide denial now.
I have learned better. I have learned over time. I have grown.
I'm messaging Lonerbox.
I've learned that there is a certain death orbit, and that death orbit can do horrible, horrible damage to people's otherwise based opinions.
So the consequences of what you vote for will probably get trans people killed, right?
Sure.
But I think what motivates people to try and keep kids away from puberty blockers and all that, I think 99.99% of the time it's because they're scared of poor kids getting doctors interfering with I think for most of the time you can actually, or some weird religious shit. I think you have to, but that's just how I view most human behavior. I don't think that necessarily means, unless you have a bit of proof, that they're actually trying to get trans people killed.
Okay, the copium popping up on the screen there was pretty funny, I gotta say. This is called normalcy bias. It's a really fucking deep-rooted brainworm. Loner wants politics to be this really unscary thing where it doesn't affect him, because if he actually has to be politically active beyond saying the right thing, you might get hurt. Yeah, it's scary. It would suck if everything about your life was forcibly made political and you had no choice in that matter. It would suck if from the day that you realized you were from the day that you realized something about yourself, people treated you like shit and you were legally discriminated against, you were economically discriminated against, you were targeted online and offline.
And the problem is, the reason I have a problem with the word genocide again is because when you use that language and you look at the way historically genocides have been responded to and the way that genocides are handled, and the best way to handle genocides is that you've got people in your audiences who are very vulnerable and are very scared enough, are very scared as it is. And when you say these people want to kill you, then you are kind of quietly saying, if someone wants to kill you, the things that you should do in self-defense.
What do you think conservatives are doing, you idiot?
1 second, I'm sorry. The dude that the groiper that messages me all the fucking time, he sent me a YouTube video called Introducing Walmart Land on Roblox. Why? It's like schizo posting 90% of the fucking time. And I say this to him in DMs all the time, so I'm not shit talking. He knows what I think. It's schizo posting all the fucking time. And then suddenly a fucking Roblox video? Why?
Sorry,
okay, go back.
It's been responsible.
And you had no choice in that matter. It would suck if from the day that you realized you were from the day that you realized something about yourself, people treated you like shit and you were legally discriminated against, you were economically discriminated against, you were targeted online and offline.
And the problem is, the reason I have a problem with the word genocide again is because when you use that language and you look at the way historically genocides have been responded to and the way that genocides are handled, and the best way to handle genocides is that you've got people in your audiences who are very vulnerable and are very scared enough, are very scared as it is. And when you say these people want to kill you, then you are kind of quietly saying, if someone wants to kill you, the things that you should do in self-defense.
What do you think conservatives are doing, you idiot? I'm sorry, I don't want to be too much of an asshole, but he's sitting here saying that that lefties are dog whistling by calling out a genocide, and in the same conversation in which he pretends that conservatives calling trans people groomers and constantly the biggest conservative channels.
He's already said that, yes, they dog whistle about that shit. He said it. He's literally already said that, yeah, like, obviously conservatives have some, like, really, like, negative views of trans people, and the politicians, he fucking hates them, right? And he wants to, like, fight back against it, but just like he doesn't like the idea of blasting out this terminology about fucking genocide. He just doesn't believe in that same thing. Cry harder. Maybe be able to fucking justify a goddamn thing that you've ever fucking said on stream. Imagine being able to justify a goddamn thing that you've ever fucking said. But that's so far outside the realm of possibility for Demon Mama. She couldn't even dream about it. It's like a fifth dimensional object. You can't even, like, conceive of it in your mind.
Putting out messaging that they, aka trans people, are coming for your kids. And in the same fucking conversation, this fucking clown is gonna sit here and go, oh, you're dog whistling towards violence. What are the conservatives doing then? What are they dog whistling towards? What the fuck? How can you be so stupid? How can you be so blind? How could you miss this? This conversation is only an hour long. Did you get so lost? What the fuck, man?
You're lost.
I'm actually glad that I decided to extend my stream to 7 hours to react to this fucking shit.
His run.
You're not willing to say they should
No,
do.
well, okay, well, one, I don't want to violate terms of service, right? People who want to defend themselves, they can
Well,
do
there
it
you
however
go.
they
You
want.
just say you don't want to violate terms of service, though, so we know what you are okay with.
No.
Fed posting asshole. You are a Fed posting asshole. This is Lonerbox trying to make it. This is intimidation. The implication of what he's doing is he's trying to get her to say something that is TOS. As if that's an own.
That's not what he's trying to do.
No, what he's trying to do is he's trying to say, hey, if you step out of line, if you say something wrong here, your channel's going to get removed. Your channel's going to get removed. Oh,
Oh,
well,
you guys
know
are
what
so
you're talking about.
special.
And what
There's
she's trying to say
feds
is,
going
I don't-
after
like,
you.
Literally, throughout this whole conversation, she has said, I don't believe in that. I want to flee. What a dirtbag shit. What fucking dirtbag bullshit.
He's not trying to do anything like
This
that.
is so shit. Man, what the fuck? Yeah, here you go, Galley. Dude, what the fuck?
Anytime someone wants you guys to be fucking honest about your fucking ideology or your fucking prescriptions about any fucking topic, you guys immediately say that, oh, well, they're actually just trying to, like, oppress me right now. They're actually just trying to, they're transphobic and they're trying to fuck me over. That's the only way that they can fucking justify, like, never saying the quiet part out loud. Because they know if they said what they actually fucking believed, guess what? They would get banned. Why? Because what they believe is based in violence. They do believe in a violence-based approach towards politics. For all of the fucking, like, cry bullying that they will do about people saying, oh, you know, like, oh, this person told me to kill myself on YouTube, or this person told me to kill myself on Twitter, all that cry bullying, they will literally direct their audiences towards people to say that shit to them. For all the cry bullying that they do, all the fucking boo-hooing that they'll do about right-wing fucking stochastic terrorism, which is a real fucking thing, the fucking second that someone says, hey, it feels like you might be doing a stochastic terrorism yourself. Oh no, you're just saying that because you want to attack trans people. No, fuck off. I think that you're actually a danger to fucking society. I think that you actually want to kill people. That's what the fucking problem is. I think you're a lunatic and you actually want to kill people. And that's scary to a lot of fucking people out there. Believe it or not, most people don't want to fucking go to a fucking second civil war where we're fighting over fucking trans rights over it. And the fact that you're trying to push people there is fucking crazy. Sorry. I got a little heated there. Let's bring down the temperature in the room. Y'all like fucking chicken nuggets or something? I don't fucking know.
No. I do not want to. No. Look. Please
Kill
do
me.
Look at what he's trying to do to her. She has not even gone hard on him at all. She's been nothing but kind. He's trying to say, oh, like, you're TOS, you're gonna get your channel taken down? What the fuck, man? What a cowardly, this is straight up, unironically, fucking no joke. Not even kidding you, 100% Chuck from fucking Better Call Saul behavior. Just, can we call him fucking Chuckbox instead? Yeah. What if I secretly recorded you and then hid the recording of you accidentally self-incriminating or confessing to me as your brother, and I use that against you in a court of law? What the fuck, man? Maybe chicanery box? I don't know.
The only reason, again, this is just cry-bully fucking behavior. Every single time they advocate for something, it's couched in the assumption that, yes, I can't say what I actually believe, right? I can't say what I actually believe because of the Twitch TOS. But, you know, if some trans people wanted to arm themselves to protect their medical human rights, then they should do that. And if a conservative gets in the way, then they should respawn peacefully. These motherfuckers are so fucking transparent, dude. It's and the outrage when someone calls them on it is fucking abysmal. It makes me fucking it's the most blackpilling fucking thing in the entire world. Again, like, for people who haven't watched me for a long time, I used to be a socialist. But I believe in certain fucking values that no, like, large leftist creator online believes in, right? I had to drop the economic arguments only because of, like, the evidence that I've been able to see against socialism, right? Like the economic fact of it. But all of these social and philosophical takes, they're fundamentally opposed to me in this, like, and like, I hate to fucking say it, a lot of them overlap with a lot of right-wing takes that I fundamentally can never get behind. The Pepe posting about, like, when people should be put down. Unfucking real. Actually, unreal. The Pepe posting, the allusions to, like, how we should deal with people who don't agree with us in like with every single one of our prescriptions philosophically. The use of data only when it supports their case. Like, there's just, like, it overlaps with the alt-right in so many fucking ways, and it's fucking ultimately fucking blackpilling. Because again, on, like, broad strokes, saying, like, trans people deserve to be treated with dignity, they deserve you know, certain rights when it comes to their medical care, they deserve to be seen as equals to cis people, shit like that, right? They shouldn't be discriminated against for you know, in their transition, whether they end up passing or not, they shouldn't be discriminated against. Oh, just tell me I fucked up. That shit shouldn't, like, that's shit that I believe, right? They shouldn't be discriminated against. Or, like, black people should be helped out in their underserved communities so they can be brought up to par with you know, white people, right? Or that, like, people who are escaping horrible lives in fucking Guatemala or fucking Honduras because of, like, drug cartels there, those people should be allowed to come into the United States and seek asylum, and they should have a path to citizenship if they so desire. They would agree with me on all those things. But then when you get into the nitty-gritty of those things, like, should we have literal open borders where people could just, like, come in here? Well, hold on. Let's think about that for a second. That might lead to some literally, like, untenable economic costs if we literally had millions of people pouring in every month, which we don't have millions of people pouring in every month. We have a lot of people, but it's not economically damaging to us, right? Or with, like, black people, right? They'll say, like, yeah, we should create places for black people to live separate from white people so that they can stay away from the bullshit, whatever they say, right? Where they literally recreate segregation, but wokely, and then defend it. Or when it comes to trans people, literally saying, you can identify as literally anything, and it can be your gender, because gender literally doesn't mean anything. Words don't mean anything. Language does not have to be a shared thing between people, despite that literally being the utility and function and reason why we use language, because we all have shared definitions of words. You can identify as anything, including, and I remember her fucking saying this. In fact, if anybody in chat can help me find the clip of her saying that Nazi gender is fucking valid, just that she would question anyone who said that they were Nazi gender. Not that it was invalid, but if they genuinely felt like they were Nazi gender, then she would support them. They fundamentally have a view of the world which is so unbelievably caustic to the groups that they advocate for. It fucking kills me, because I actually care about these fucking issues. I actually care about what is the best way for us to bring the poor up to where they have like decent fucking lives. What is the best way for us to advocate for the rights of trans people? What is the best way for us to make sure that people who are seeking better lives are able to come to the United States and do that, while also like helping ourselves in the process? Because let's be honest, immigration is based. What are the best ways for us to do this? And let's look at the evidence. And let's go based off of that evidence and try to create a system that takes all of the best things from all of the systems all over the world and puts it into ours. And then improve on that even further, so that everybody is always striving to be better. That's how I want to fucking look at the world. Through a paradigm where we are always trying to make people's lives fucking better. And they don't believe in that. They will as soon reinvent fucking segregation as look at literal data points on how to like help black people. It fucking kills me. Sorry, I'm ranting a little bit, but it fucking kills me so much. I put so much effort into looking at the world and looking at different ideologies and reading about different ideologies to see what things have worked good and what things have not worked so good in the past, to understand people's viewpoints, to be able to reach people so that they come into like a space where we all live in the same fucking reality, all using the same words to mean the same things. And they've harassed the fuck out, like the most harassment I've ever received in my entire goddamn life has been at the hands of Demon Mama's community. They're fucking vicious if you disagree with them. And there have been some times where I might have gone a little bit too far, making fun of them and saying mean things to them. I did say that one thing about that gay fesh guy's dick, which was, let's be honest, very fucking funny. But it was body shaming and I shouldn't have fucking done it. And I've said that I shouldn't have done it. But I want to apologize to that motherfucker, because he's literally openly led harassment campaigns against me. But because he's doing it on the correct side of things, it'll never, ever, ever, like, he'll never get banned. He'll never get held accountable. He can literally say, we need to mass report Sondsol because he's transphobic and hates trans people, because I said vampire gender isn't real. We need to mass report this motherfucker. I don't care if streaming is his only form of income, which at that point it was. We should mass report him so that he's gone forever, so we don't have to deal with him anymore. Rather than like explain to me how I'm wrong in a way that actually convinces me. Because it's not like I'm ideologically fucking like predisposed to believing Nazi gender isn't a thing, or vampire gender isn't a thing. I don't have an ideology that like forces me to not accept vampire gender. It's not like I'm cleric gender, where I automatically attack all vampire genders on sight. No. You could convince me otherwise, but they know that they can't, so they don't. Instead, they use the exact same tactics as the fucking alt-right did to deplatform people, to attack people, to harass them off the internet. To agree with your stream rule from your birthday, no fat chicks? I don't know what you're talking about, unless you're talking about me banning Brittany from the chat on that day, but Nazi Freudian. No, it's because Demon Mama has literally said that Nazi gender is valid as long as they truly believe it. To relax after this crazy stream. I'm not even like, let's be clear. I'm not even like that super upset about it. It's just like when I look at like the way that things could have gone and the way that things are going, and then I see the advocates that are pushing the talking points that are becoming like the big talking points of these things, it fucking kills me. Like I'm not like super upset. I'm not super worked up. And trust me, if I was super worked up, you would fucking know. People have seen me worked up on stream. But like yeah, like when I see shit like that, it's fucking blackpilling. How else can I describe it? Like it's not the red pill or the blue pill, it's the black pill.
Fuck this guy. This is pathetic, man. What are you, a fucking liberal? Yeah, this is some like terminal toxic liberality.
Not push me to this direction. I told you my personal story. I think I talked to trans
literally,
people.
again, I just want to reiterate, just so nobody says that I'm being super mean here, just to reiterate, Poly People explicitly already said that she doesn't even believe in taking up arms, that she's not a violent person, that she wants to flee. So he's just being an asshole and trying to trick her into accidentally Fed posting when she's already been very clear about her position. This is a dirtbag piece of shit. This is like bad empanada tier tactics. Not that Lonerbox is as bad as bad empanada, but unironically, that's bad empanada tier tactics. That's the shit that bad empanada does. He goes on debates and tries to get people TOS'd. Pathetic. Embarrassing.
Time, many of us are figuring out where the fuck we're gonna run to. Right?
Hey, welcome back, Silent.
That's the normal response. Like taking up arms against the state is suicidal, right? Like I would never advocate that people do that. That seems insane to me.
Demon Mama did earlier in the stream.
I would never advocate, ever. Oh, never.
Oh, look, she's doing the fucking Pepe posting of this. She's Pepe posting right now. I would never advocate for violence.
We are firmly against political violence. We are firmly against resisting the state.
Even her chat is posting Pepe. Even her chat is posting Pepe. What the fuck?
However, I do want to quote some literature here.
Oh, however, but
this is our worst enemy, the law. As merciless, cruel, and unrighteous as it is, the law thinks
the law is our greatest enemy. Oh God.
Nothing of whatever falls between the arms of its scale. The law does not believe in anything that falls between the black and the white. That's just a quote from literature, guys. Here on this channel, we are firmly no violence. Firmly.
I can understand why some people,
despite her saying earlier that she wants trans people to arm themselves for the oncoming trans genocide in this stream. Fucking liar. Fucking cuck. Fucking say what you believe, or like fuck off. There's no opinion of mine that I've ever had to hide on stream. Literally zero. I've never had to hide an opinion. Because I don't believe in fucking violence like that. If you have to hide something that you believe from your audience, from the public, so that you don't get banned, so that you don't get, so that you don't get investigated by the fucking literal feds, maybe something about your worldview, maybe something about your tactics for achieving your political goals is fucked up. But, maybe I'm just a liberal who believes that killing people is bad for no reason.
Feel like they have to do that, right? But I think that's just mental masturbation, or it's just a way to make yourself feel better about the real reality that they're trying to kill us. Like, this seems to be, to you, this is a sort of a philosophical debate, right? and I can feel that, and that's really frustrating to me because real trans people don't talk about these ways in the ways that, like, Vosh, for example, does, or the people that talk about, self-defense with fucking arms. That's crazy. Like, that is not going to help us.
I disagree.
The thing that will help us is if you at least call out what.
Even Polly doesn't advocate for that stuff either. I'm pretty sure that in a conversation that I had with her, she said that trans people should be arming themselves. Or maybe I saw a clip of her agreeing with Vosh saying that. But like the implication, if you're saying that like trans people should be arming themselves for the oncoming genocide, is that like, all right, guys, guess what? Get yourself some guns. But maybe I'm wrong. But Demon Mama explicitly fucking said it earlier. Or as close to explicit as you can be without, like, Pepe posting.
What is happening, right? Instead of, like...
Or, like, literally saying it, sorry.
Not quite as bad as you think. Like, just because there's some libs that, like, maybe fall prey to the idea that, there's like an over-treatment of gender dysphoria, right? Doesn't mean that the core transphobe wants to do...
Right, but I would actually be interested to because I don't think Polly will ever talk to me again, especially after me reviewing this. But even before that, I had a conversation with her in the past that is on YouTube. I just linked the YouTube if you want to subscribe there. But yeah, I have a video on YouTube where I was talking to her, and she like completely has like the exact same take as Demon Mama when it comes to like political advocacy. Like, yeah, we should be mean, we should be violent, we should be like, or I don't know if like violent is the word she used, but like based off of that conversation with her, I wouldn't doubt that she would say the same thing that Demon Mama said earlier. And I would like to be proved wrong, because I used to like Polly. I thought she was a very like I liked the fact that she was aggressive, right? But I thought she had the ability to like turn it on and off, right? But I actually don't think that she does have the ability to turn it off. It's all aggression all the fucking time, and that's like never ever 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 going to fucking reach people that disagree with you, you know? And I love being aggressive. That's why I liked Polly, right? I like being aggressive sometimes. Sometimes you got to be that motherfucker that like shits on the person that's like going hard on, the race realism, or like shits on the person that is being ultra transphobic, right? You should speak to her about that. I don't remember her ever saying to do violence. Right. Again, like that's why I'm saying like, I don't know when it comes to Polly, right? I do know that Demon Mama literally just did it. I do know that Vosh has literally just done it, right? But I do know that Polly has like a stance of like, we should be aggressive and we should fight in like the strongest ways possible to achieve trans liberation, right? She agrees with all these very illiberal people who don't believe in the rule of law, who don't think that they can go through the legal systems to advocate for their rights, et cetera, right? And I'm willing to be like proved wrong. That's just like the impression that I get from her. But again, I don't think that she'll ever talk to me again, because I don't think that after our previous conversations and like the people that I associate with that she virulently fucking hates now, I don't think that she would be willing to talk to me again. But,
do nothing short of eliminate trans people, however that happens. Just like the fucking Nazis did. They didn't necessarily need to cart every person off. They were happy with immigrants.
Just reiterating, the first mass book burnings happened in 1933.
Book burnings aren't genocide. Book burnings aren't genocide. Book burnings aren't genocide.
A physical attack against Jewish people that was spurred on by right-wing agitation well before 1941, when Lonerbox says it was fair to call it a genocide.
I'm head out soon, but fun fact, I got spit at 6 times yesterday. Jesus, what did you do to him? Good to hear that you're his assistant now. Hey, thank you for the sub. I really appreciate that.
Amazing.
Also, if anyone would like to drop a donation link right there, or I dropped the donation link right there. If anyone wants to drop any birthday cash in there, all right. My birthday was on Halloween. All right. If you guys want to spread the love, that's a great way to help me out directly.
Which will happen. People will at least move states,
Jesus
right?
Christ.
Because only certain states right now are genocidal. Some states are not. So, forcing people to move out, making people's lives miserable such that they kill themselves. That's all in the playbook. the core intent of these laws is to kill or eliminate by whatever means necessary trans people.
And when you're saying that this is just a philosophical debate for me, I find that a bit insulting. One of my partners is trans. I've got trans people in my community. I've got trans friends who are close to me, and they will say actually, and this is someone who people have come to me like complaining about.
No shit,
Please
Shakespeare.
don't do it, dude. Please don't do it. Just stop where you are. Stop while you're ahead. I know he already said it because this is a VOD, but oh my
Wait,
god,
what did he
here we
say?
go.
Vosh genocide thing is they say.
Whatever means necessary trans people.
And when you're saying that this is
Hold on, really quick. Also, Shakespeare, confirm or deny, Halloween is the best and only holiday birthday that someone can have that is good. Birthday on Christmas, you're not getting as many fucking presents. All right. Birthday on fucking Easter, well, you have to dress up in those fucking frilly, cringy fucking clothes. Halloween, just fucking right. Okay.
it's just a philosophical debate for me. I find that a bit insulting. One of my partners is trans. I've got trans people in my community. I've got trans friends who are close to me, and they will say actually, and this is someone who people have come to me like complaining
Don't do
about.
it, dude. Please don't do it, dude. Please don't
What?
do it. Just stop where you are. Stop
Don't do
while you're
what?
ahead. I know he already said it because this is a VOD, but oh my god, here we go.
Vosh, when he says the genocide thing, is they say that when they hear that, they feel like horrified. They feel like an immovable fear. And then often, I think when I have these discussions with people,
Based. Thank you so much.
You said to donate during stream, so happy birthday, birthday boy.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
I ask a few people whether or not
Maybe Sock Darling. Hello?
like, oh, how many states do you think of close to me? And they will say actually, and this is someone who people have come to me like
Don't
complaining
do it,
about.
dude. Please don't do it, dude. Please don't do it. Just stop where you are. Stop while you're ahead. I know he already said it because this is a VOD, but oh my god, here we go.
Vosh, when he says the genocide thing, is they say that when they hear that, they feel like horrified. They feel like an immovable fear. And then often, I think when I have these discussions with people, is I ask a few people whether or not like, oh, how many states do you think have banned trans healthcare for kids or have tried to? And they'll say, oh, I don't know, like 30. And it's like 2, and one of them failed. So it's like, and I think giving people that impression and giving people that like, doom and gloom, because genocide is very doom and gloom. Like,
Yes.
We should just it's just a vibe genocide. You know, we should just ignore it.
It's not a genocide if nothing's happened.
We talked about Magnus.
Nothing's
Hirschfeld earlier, but
happened.
to bring it back up again, Magnus Hirschfeld fled Germany in 1933, and then he died in France in 1935. Magnus Hirschfeld's entire life was persecuted by the entire end of his life. He was persecuted by the Nazis long before when Lonerbox here, Mr. fucking Chuckbox.
If he fled in 1932, then that was when the Nazis took power, or the year before they took power. So how is he persecuted by the Nazis before they took power? The entire end of his life? I'm sorry, just
thinks that was when it was an actual genocide. Don't ruin brunch. Don't ruin brunch, anybody.
I think that can actually like, debilitate people as
So
well.
you're just
the
totally
one
like,
fucking
like,
thing
for,
they
like,
have.
motivation. So no, but you can say, but you were talking as if you're like the genocide thing is like me refusing to listen to trans voices and all that. But I can fucking I can fucking pull forth like quite a few trans people who don't like the word genocide either. So it's not like
it doesn't matter if they like it. Trans people can also be in denial. There's a lot of trans people who don't recognize how bad things are.
So there we go. If they don't agree with Demon Mama, then they're just in denial about their own genocide. If they don't feel as persecuted as Demon Mama does, then they're just in denial. It couldn't possibly be the fact that you're wrong. There's never a consideration that they could be fucking wrong. Just, if you don't agree with me, you're in fucking denial. You're one of the bad transes.
Who fucking cares?
If you're not a monolith, I'm sure you wouldn't say that.
Okay, all right. So I think I'd take issue with your two-state number. I mean, there's many laws that are I don't have the website up, but like there's many laws that exist right now that have been passed in many states trying.
Specifically about banning, about restricting healthcare for kids, right? 2 states succeeded, I think, and one of them got overturned this year.
No. 2 states succeeded at passing a full ban, and both of them were overturned on the federal level. Thank goodness. 2 states succeeded at banning all, not just for minors.
No. Texas did not succeed. They passed the bill and then it got struck down in our own courts, I believe. The other one got struck down at the federal level.
As far as I know, unless it's something more recent.
I'd have to look at the most recent stuff. It's so okay, yes. The trans people are not a monolith, but I will tell you this. And of course there's many trans people that will not that don't want to like call it a genocide, and that's their right, because it can be debilitating when you sort of look at what's going on. Like, we still have to live our lives, but somebody like you,
My home state,
you don't
F.
have the you're not going to be frozen in fear if you really kind of like use the in my judgment would be the most correct words to describe what's going on in a way that people will hear and be like, oh, maybe I should look into this because
no, internet gas, you missed the thing at the beginning where she literally had no fucking clue anything about the Nazis. Like, she didn't know, it seems like she didn't even know like when they came to power. It seems like she didn't know anything about anything relating to Nazi Germany. Like, she was talking about like the persecution that the Nazis were giving of the Jews in 1919, or of gay people and Jews in 1919. Meanwhile, the Nazi Party wasn't even founded until 1920. Yeah, I'm from Arkansas originally. Grew up in very small towns around the southern part.
I'm not wrong in the way I describe it.
But now I live in
think
Texas.
That proves out when I, it's not we're not just arguing about a word. It seems like we're arguing about what these anti-trans laws are really about and what they are intended to do. It seems like you're unwilling to accept that
unbelievable liberal naivety. And it's not naivety. It's just liberalism is fascism is like liberalism's biggest weakness. Liberalism paves the way for fascism to succeed. It's just the way it operates. An obsession with the law and inability to react in real time to real threats because those threats veil themselves under the veneer of legality until it's too late.
The laws are being passed because they are dehumanizing us and demonizing us in a way that that is necessary and sufficient to create genocidal intent in a population.
Wait,
So you're
to create the intent? So we're not even at the intent level yet? They're just trying to create the intent to genocide the trans people? I fucking can't, dude. This shit's fucking insane. What the fuck? It's a genocide when people are trying to create intent to do a genocide.
saying it's not over a word, but it is though. We agree on what people should do to stop it. We agree on how bad it is. We agree on where it's happening. Yeah, like it is just the word.
You don't think they're trying to kill trans people? You told me that you don't. Yeah, okay.
Wait, can you tell me which legislator is trying to kill trans people? Are there specific ones?
Marjorie Taylor Greene, Donald Trump, Mitch McConnell, Ted Cruz, Ron DeSantis.
Are you
Show
telling
us
me that
where.
the only way I can prove to you that there's a genocide is that if I find a legislator,
The bait is coming soon.
Says, "Oh, I don't want to kill trans people," and it beeps red, and then you'd be like, "Oh, because you found one legislator and you proved beyond reasonable doubt that person has genocidal intent."
Ken Paxton, Greg Abbott.
Will you then agree it's a genocide? No, you wouldn't even do it then. You'd be like, "Well, that's just one."
Well, I can say with, for example,
there's no way to prove to you. Okay.
No. I can give you a lot of leeway here. There's like these kind of discussions that they'll ask, like when it comes to studying like in law, like genocide, they'll say, can we see genocidal intent in Hitler before 1941? And some people will say yes, because he's talking about removal by any means, even though there's no sign that he wants to kill people. It's like, well, if you want to remove millions and millions of people,
some people would say there was no genocidal intent after 1945. Like it doesn't matter.
That's how you would say that there.
How could there be genocidal intent after 1945? Because Nazi Germany lost the war in 1945. It's hard to fucking intend to do fucking shit when you're all dead. These people are retarded.
There was one as a genocide. There was plenty of it. I would say there was. I would say you can say. What?
Well, of course.
What did I just say? Wait, what did I just say?
Okay, so what I think you said is that Hitler had genocidal intent before. Wait. When would you say the genocide of the Jews actually happened?
I have a pass. I'm neurodivergent.
No, that's not the question. Is whether or not the intent.
He already
when the
answered
intent
this.
showed.
Wait. Just to be clear, he already answered this. He said that he believes the genocide began in 1941, according to his previous statement. Maybe he can retract that, but he didn't.
That's
now
where
I'm interested in your answer to my question.
Well, the signs of the intent were there from like 1919 when Hitler wrote about removal.
Yeah, but when would you say? When would you say, according to you? When would you say the genocide happened?
To say when the genocide started?
No, well, I want to know your answer. It's not a gotcha. I just want you to.
If I say anything later, no, you are. Don't lie to me.
Okay,
if I say anything later than 1933 when the Nazis got elected, you've got a dunk, right? That's the kind of level we're operating at right now.
Are you unwilling to answer the question?
My man, dude, don't even try. Don't even try to high horse. You did the whole fucking, I'm going to try and get your stream TOS thing for no reason earlier on. And now you're trying to act smug when she asked you a very direct question because you think that you got gotcha because your argument is fucking stupid.
No,
man,
it's not stupid. It's just like a fucking...
No, I'm not willing. I think the genocide started in 1941. Final solution implemented and ordered in 1941.
Okay. Yeah, thank you, Yasmin, for the $5. Yasmin says, are you trying to get me in a gotcha like me trying to gotcha you with Fed posting? How dare you, you uppity trans girl?
Okay, so
Because the accusation of the Fed posting is predicated on the fact that she said the things that would lead him to believe that she believed in violent approaches because she was trying to get him with gotchas on what would you say to the Jews who were being genocided by the Nazis. That was her gotcha. And then he said, okay, well, if there's a genocide going on right now, what would you say to trans people who are being genocided? Yeah, no fucking shit, dude. That was a direct response to what she's saying. Now she's just trying to say like, oh, well, you don't even believe they had genocidal intent. Oh, do you think that the Nazis were nice to Jews before they started the final solution? Obviously fucking not. So hers is a gotcha. His was a direct response to like her worldview.
So if you were...
Man, Lonerbox really fucked this one up. Like, Lonerbox had a debate with this content creator I wasn't familiar with before named Poly People. And
Wait, what's not? What's
whether or not there's a trans genocide.
Oh, shut up.
And his position is embarrassingly bad. And
There's not?
yeah, he says not, and there isn't any intent either.
There's no proof of any intent whatsoever.
And what's worse, I wouldn't say it's worse than his argument, because his argument is pretty bad. But what's worse is the way that he's approached the conversation, which is to be a giant cunt to somebody who's been nothing but respectful for him, like literally no dunking on her side whatsoever.
Are you
and he
kidding?
was just like, oh well, if you're saying there's a genocide going on right now, well,
Jesus.
I don't know about you,
Jesus,
but I would have
Jesus.
supported the Jews assassinating Hitler. So what are you saying? You saying that you want them to assassinate the president? Is that what you want? Literally doing that type of shit. Like, oh, don't you think that
I'm
shouldn't you say that
barely
you're willing to
surviving
support the
here. Holy
assassination of
shit.
public figures? And she's like, no. What are you talking about? First of all, why are you trying to like TOS me? And secondly, no, I don't believe in that. I want to flee. I want to go somewhere safe. And I'm like, bro, what the fuck? And now he's getting super mad that she said, so when do you think that the genocide against the Jews started? He's like, oh, you're trying to get me
No,
a
that's
gotcha.
not what she
You're trying to
asked.
get me a gotcha. Like,
That's not what
bro,
she
the fuck?
asked.
That's weird.
He already said when
we gotta
the
finish this.
genocide
I've been
started.
way too long. I know.
Damn, I took a nap
But
and you're still going.
I know. I've been bad. I've been very bad. I've been very bad. I'm so bad. Mama bad. Mama bad. You're not even in the camera. You're too far over.
That's okay.
Yeah.
That's okay.
All right, I'll come down soon. Okay, I promise. And then we'll smoke that weed. Okay, because I really need that after this shit.
This sort of goes back to our earlier point, right? If you were on the ground in pre-war Germany in 1940, you would argue that there wasn't a genocide of the Jews going on, even though like Hitler had already invaded Poland.
Wait, hold on a second. This is really funny. Somebody in Poly People's chat says the final solution was not the start of the genocide. That's
Someone just DM'd me screen caps of Polly's chat. Oh man. And it was that person that was just in chat being so nice, the Shakespeare person. Not getting ready. No, they were just talking shit about me. I'm sure that they do talk about Lonerbox very, very disparagingly, but you know.
That's such an excellent point. The Nazis literally called it the final solution, implying they had tried other solutions before. Oh God. Oh, liberals are so lost.
There were,
liberals are so lost.
There was already like, well, I guess there wasn't there was already laws being passed trying to eliminate.
You would say that it was set in motion, that the conditions were laid for it. They were.
There was law. No, but like there were already Jews dying.
If this was a conversation only about the Holocaust, all of this would be considered genocide denial, because it is, because it's downplaying the very real threat. We only have this in high.
You know, it kind of sucks that when, because like I like to grow the community and I like to like give my take, and I think that like the way that I engage with people is pretty reasonable. I think I'm pretty reasonable. And so like when someone like comes in chat and it's their first time in chat and they're they're engaging nicely, if I see them like immediately go to another chat, that's pretty fucking depressing, because I like it when I get to see the same names in chat over and over and over, right? Like I've said this before, but like Nair Socks, he's gonna come in and he's gonna fucking meme, and I know that like half of the shit that he says don't take like super seriously. Same thing with Saphiric Neon, right? Internet Gas is going to link some stuff about international relations and international news. I can look at any chatter that's here regularly, and I know like essentially who they are as they relate to my chat, right? Or how they engage with me. And then when I see like someone, I was like, oh, okay, well, you just like subbed to me. Like, it looks like you might be someone that might be a returning viewer or some shit like that. To see them like immediately in someone else's chat, as like some sort of like weird op to try and get me to give my take in a way that makes me look as bad as possible to other communities, that fucking sucks, dude. If only Sondsol knew what I say about him in Relly's chat. Yeah, but John, I know that you're an A-logger, so.
Insight, because the Holocaust already happened. The only reason he can get away with any of this is because when you're talking about—
I'm just listing off names off the top of my head. I'm not like, I said Nair Saksuzi was there, but Saphiric Neon's not in chat.
the Holocaust, it already happened. This one is ongoing. If we were to pretend that it was 1939 and the formal Holocaust had not begun, and this argument happened, and he was making the same arguments, and we were to look at that, we would say that's genocide denial.
No.
Because there were Jews at the time. It just wasn't done in the way that you would specifically call a genocide.
Yes,
that's because genocide wasn't a word back then.
Yeah, if people die because of...
Actually, we have many definitions of genocide to the degree that the
we
UN
don't.
has more than one definition of genocide. We've already looked at this during my stream. You guys all know this. But yeah,
you looked at 2 different articles, both of which gave the exact same definition of genocide. What are you talking about, dude? I don't understand. Like both of the definitions were the same.
Clear in responding to
people die because of systemic discrimination. That's not genocide. No.
How is that not genocide? If people die as a result of systemic discrimination,
that's the definition of genocide. He doesn't even know what he's talking about. This is pathetic.
Were black people genocided in the United States?
Wait, sorry, I just want to do a debunk. I'm feeling a little paranoid here because I know people are going to react to this, and I want to just prove to you what I'm talking about. I just had this up. Hold on, let me just show you again,
different
one more time, just so that
articles,
we're clear.
both saying the same
I'm going to show
thing.
this up right here. What he just said was that a law that legal discrimination that leads to death is not genocide. I'm sorry, but the UN literally disagrees with you. Deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part. This is Article 2.
Listen to what she just said.
Disagrees with you. Deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of...
She said, legal discrimination doesn't mean genocide? Huh. Well, let me read you this definition that does not at all say what I just said.
Life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part. This is Article 2 of the Convention on the Prevention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide. Going slower, Article 2 of the Genocide Convention narrows it, also including deliberately inflicting on the group conditions of life calculated to bring about its physical destruction in whole or in part, causing serious...
See, look. Oh. The Shakespeare person, still. I opened it up in fucking Chatterino because of that. I said, I don't know for sure.
Serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group. Lonerbox is wrong. Lonerbox is wrong even by his own definition.
No,
this is phenomenally stupid.
The definition doesn't even agree with you.
You don't actually mean a term that can be defined and boundaries can be set and stuff.
Dude, shut the fuck up, man. Man, shut the fuck up. What an asshole. This dude is being such a fucking dick.
Wait, what did he say?
Serious bodily or mental harm to members of the group. Lonerbox is wrong. Lonerbox is wrong even by his own definition. This is phenomenally stupid.
Just admit to me right now then that when you say genocide, you don't actually mean a term that can be defined and boundaries can be set and stuff.
Dude, shut the fuck up, man. Man, shut the fuck up. What an asshole.
Shut the fuck up.
This dude is being
you don't
such a
agree
fucking
with
dick.
me.
This Poly People has
hell.
not been rude or dunked on him even in a little bit. He's being a smug, sarcastic piece of shit when this girl over here is pouring out her heart about her genuine concerns of genocide. She's not making personal attacks against him. She's just trying to convince him that yes,
she has made personal attacks against him, saying that he doesn't know anything about trans people.
They use it because it's like as a rhetorical flourish. That's the only justification you can be using the term right now.
No, hold on a second, because I'm surprised. So like I'm surprised. You know, I guess I could be. Hey, I'm willing to be wrong here, but I would be surprised if it is a commonly accepted point of view that the German genocide of the Jews didn't start until 1941. That seems.
He reiterated that twice. It's an idiotic position.
Literally impossible to me.
According to what, like legal definitions, or just like using the word kind of like, I don't know.
The way people use the word genocide to describe genocide. Like,
yeah,
if you want to, if you want to communicate with people what's going on, okay, do you think
the way the word people use the word genocide, the way the people use the word genocide to describe genocide, what is that? Okay.
That the average, oh my God.
Okay, hold on. I just want to blow him out again one more time. Just so we're clear. The UN Convention on Genocide was not even put into law until December 9th, 1948.
That's because the word wasn't invented until then.
Here. I just want you guys to hear how fucking right I am and how fucking right poly people is on this. Listen to this real quick. Let's just listen to this back. Listen up.
Didn't start until 1941. That seems literally impossible to me.
According to what, like legal definitions or?
According to what legal definitions? Guess what, bitch? The legal definition until December 9th, 1948. Let's just rewind here. I just want you guys to hear how fucking right I am and how fucking right poly people is on this. Listen to this real quick. Let's just listen to this back. Listen up.
Didn't start until 1941. That seems literally impossible to me.
According to what, like legal definitions or?
According to what legal definitions? Guess what, bitch? The legal definition you're using, the Holocaust at the time could not be considered a genocide because the UN fucking assembly on genocide did not happen until December 9th, 1948. What are you talking about? What a stupid argument. Literally, legal brained, so stupid. This is fucking, I am so disappointed with this. Oh, God.
What do you mean legal brain? You're literally using the words of a legal fucking document to fucking say that he's wrong. What do you mean legal brain?
I hope this is just a one-off. I hope he eats crow on this and says, wow, I really fucked this up.
Just like
Holy
using
shit.
the words kind of like, I don't know.
The way people use the word genocide to describe genocide. Like,
yeah,
if you want to, if you want to communicate with people, what's going on? Okay, do you think that the average? Oh my God. Okay, so when you
want to go one further? You want to go one further? You ready to go one step further? Genocide is the intentional destruction of a people, usually classed as ethnic, national, racial, or religious, in whole or in part. Raphael Lemkin coined the term in 1944. The term genocide did not even exist at the time that he's talking about.
Okay.
So all of this stupid semantic nonsense is a bunch of fucking hot air.
This doesn't change his argument whatsoever.
The definition didn't even exist, so it wouldn't fucking matter if you called it a genocide or not. The legal terms, didn't exist at the time. Lonerbox's argument is so upside down in this conversation. It's so ass backwards. Just, oh my God, man.
You're getting very flustered over absolutely nothing here, by the way. But
dude, shut the fuck up. What a dumb
Get
cunt.
angry,
dude, shut the
Demon
fuck up.
Mama. You get angry.
You're fucking smugly
Get
condescending
mad.
to this girl who's been nothing but nice to you this entire fucking time, who's actually talking about an issue that affects her, and your stupid smug ass is not only dead goddamn wrong. Lonerbox is not only dead.
It fucking affects him too. His girlfriend is trans. You've used an amalgamation of US and British law to say that there is a genocide in the United States against trans people. If anyone has a fucking, hat in this race, it's fucking him too.
Goddamn wrong. He's being a fucking stupid smug prick about it. Dude, absolutely what the fuck, man.
Absolutely what the fuck.
You want flustered? How's this for fucking flustered? How's this for fucking flustered? You want to come talk to me? Let's talk about it, buddy. I'll be a whole lot meaner. You want the spice? You want the fire?
I would love to talk to Demon Mama about this, but she'll never, ever, ever, ever talk to me. Like literally ever.
Idiot.
I'm not sure I don't know if there's much more for us to talk about. I mean, I think I understand what you're saying.
Wouldn't it be funny? Wouldn't it be funny if there was something I had in my back pocket? Anybody want to guess when the first concentration camp for Jewish people, communists, and other dissidents opened? Anybody want to guess? Can we get a guess?
41?
22nd of March, 1933. But guess what? According to Lonerbox, the genocide didn't start until 1940.
Hold on. Concentration camp. Concentration camp. Concentration camp. Concentration camp. Those are bad. They are nearly synonymous with genocide. But were they exterminating any Jews in 1933? No, they were not. People have called the camps at the border where they were separating families. They've called those concentration camps. Was that a genocide? Yeah, Shadowrun was the Was the concentration camps that we had for the Japanese genocide? Concentration camps are always bad, but they're not always genocide.
41. What a moron!
What a moron!
Dachau. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly. I apologize. I've literally never heard that word said out loud, I don't think, or at least I have it in my memory. Dachau? Dachau, whatever. First concentration camp.
I can't do any more of this. All right. We're ending. Let's send you guys to Stardust. All right. I love you guys very much. This has been a horrible, hellish stream. Yes, everybody. If you're not subscribed, you should be. Where am I? Wait, hold on. Where the fuck are my emotes? Where are my emotes? Wait, where are my fucking emotes? This is our rating message. Copy and paste it. Love you guys. I'll catch you guys later.